officers, Chairman, Conference of Speakers, State Legislature, right over to Adebo, for the British High Commission to Nigeria and UK Communist Representative to ECOWAS, Mr. Richard O'Donnell, Clerk of National Assembly, Mr. Maru, members of the Diplomatic Corps, they are present. Heads of Ministry, Department of Agencies of Government, they are present. Chief of Defense, the Soul of Minister, Heads of Military and Military, they are present. The General Department of State. It's a claim one for the officials, black development partners, they are present. The National Assembly, they are present. Especially National Library, people at the 10th House of Representatives. Today, as we inaugurate the national policy dialogue on the legislative agenda, to the aspiration of our people, legislative actions that must shape their reality. The bridge between Parliament and public, policy and people, mandate and meaning. We gather not merely as policymakers, but as custodians of Nigeria's democratic future, united by our shared vision to translate the aspiration of our people into actionable governance. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by acknowledging the inspiring leadership of President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, whose renewed hope agenda has redefined Nigeria's developmental trajectory. His bold reforms, from fiscal restructuring to security sector overhaul, have laid a resilient foundation for prosperity. Under his stewardship, Nigeria is witnessing a paradigm shift, a transition from potential to performance, from challenges to solution, and from despair to hope. Ladies and gentlemen, yet we in the House of Representatives know that hope must be legislated into reality. Laws are the scaffolding upon which nations are built and rebuilt. Under the astute leadership of my principal, the Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, GCON, the 10th House has become a legislative powerhouse. Since June 13, 2023, the House has considered over 1,059 bills spanning every facet of national life, from constitutional amendments to sector-specific reforms in education, in health, and security, as well as the economy. Our 8-pillar legislative agenda, as captured in our legislative agenda 2.0, is both and is designed to be the engine room of national transformation. These pillars include good governance and anti-corruption, national security, social sector development, inclusive and open parliament, economic growth and diversification, fiscal federalism and resource control, environmental sustainability, law reforms, and constitutional review. I'm sure my principal, by the time he's giving his remark, will enlarge the discussion on all these areas. I won't bore you by just introducing what we are here for today. I salute the Speaker, actually, for orchestrating this legislative surge. And I commend Honorable Cyril Hart Godwin and Honorable Chinwe Nabife Clara for rigorously monitoring its implementation, ensuring that our status are not only enacted, but measured. For that is true, then today's dialogue is the opening of his inner sanctum. For too long, legislation has been seen as a guided preserve of lawmakers alone. But a house built without windows invites no light, and a house built without doors welcomes no visitors. So today, we throw open both the windows and the doors of the parliament. We say clearly, this house is the people's house, and its agenda must be the people's agenda. Just to listen. Listening is the first act of leadership. As parliamentarians, the dialogue creates a platform where lawmakers, we can listen with humility and act with courage. Secondly, is to collaborate because progress is the child of partnership. Laws crafted in silos stumble in implementation. But when diverse voices lock arms, our legislative architecture stands taller and lasts longer. Through this dialogue, we aim to strengthen collaboration and feedback mechanisms, ensuring that stakeholders' insights are integrated into our legislative priorities. Thirdly, which is finally, to chart a clear path forward for the future with no wait. The urgency of our national moment compels us to prioritize and act strategically with clarity of purpose and constancy of vision. This dialogue allows us to present and discuss the House legislative agenda, identify priority policy area that demand legislative action, and promote transparency, promote inclusiveness, and promote strategic direction in all our lawmaking efforts. In alignment with the broader national reform agenda, we have begun to witness tangible policy gains, unified exchange rate windows that are restoring investor confidence, unprecedented capital inflows into our energy and tech sectors, and the passage of 4 streamlined tax reform laws this year aim at eliminating multiple taxation and boosting productivity. These strides reaffirm a simple truth. When both legislations converges with decisive policy actions, the transformation of a nation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. To our development partners in progress, the European Union, the British High Commission, UK International Development Plaque, and the National Assembly Library Trust Fund, your expert guidance, technical assistance, and the research capacity have been indispensable. This dialogue would not be possible without your steadfast support. As we embark on today's section, let us seize this unique opportunity to interrogate, refine, co-create the legislative toolkit that will carry Nigeria forward through robust debates, collaborative, probably Nigerian. Indeed, as I close, democracy like a river flows strongest when fed by many streams. Let our words today be bold, let our minds open, let our resolve become unshakable. For the future will not wait, and the urgency of our national moment compels us to act with clarity of purpose and constancy of vision. I look forward to insightful contributions you will make over the course of this dialogue. Together, we will craft laws worthy of our nation's promise as we secure a future of shared prosperity and ensuring democracy is sustained and is strengthened in our country. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie-Kalu, delivering his welcome address there and speaking about the powerhouse that the House of Representatives has become. The Right Honorable Speaker, reforms in health, education, and security, and the decisive policy actions by both the House of Representatives and the Senate, and the work that the National Assembly is doing through the House of Representatives. Let's give him a round of applause for his intervention. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have with us in the room, and I'd like to crave your indulgence, members of the diplomatic community who has joined us this morning. Thank you, it's good to see you. Always good to see you. We have Ambassador Isaac Parashina, the Kenya High Commissioner. Would like to welcome and thank you for coming. Nabariako, Sasa, good to see you. Would like to welcome Dr. Mohammed Abu Sabia, Iraq Embassy. Mohammed Fouad, Embassy of Egypt. Gatia Mignon, the EU Ambassador who has joined us, we welcome you. Mr. Hassan Fries, Deputy Head of Mission, Embassy of Syria, welcome. Cassandra Caraway, United States Embassy, who is here with us. Would like to greet and welcome Bazivamo Christopher, Rwanda High Commission. Welcome, sir. Ahmed Roshidi, UAE Embassy, who has also joined us. Buikoz is from the Vietnam Embassy. We also have in our midst Embassy of Zimbabwe, through the door. We welcome you. The Ambassador Mexico, Ambassador Cote d'Ivoire, Mr. Rangavia Naisan Sitole, Zimbabwe Minister Counselor. We welcome you and we thank you for being here with us. We appreciate members of the Diplomatic Corps. If I haven't mentioned your name, we thank you for being here. We have the representative of the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, which is represented by Mr. Mbam Peter Chinedu, Director Legal Services. We have Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, SAN, Chairman, ICPC. We have joining us this morning a very special gentleman, Alhaji Muhammad Lingyadi, who is the Honorable Minister of Labor and Employment. We welcome you, sir. We thank you for coming. We have with us His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, who is representing His Excellency, the Edo State Governor. We welcome you, sir. And we have with us Rear Admiral Olotu, Commandant of the National Defense College. We welcome you. I did see him when he walked through the door. There he is. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Today, as we bring forward this national dialogue, we remember that I had mentioned earlier that I was bereaved, but I'm not alone. The Right Honorable Speaker is also bereaved, as is Mr. Clement Nwankwo today. This is what happens to individuals in life's journey. It's not new. It'll happen tomorrow. It happened yesterday and today. Perhaps they are not stars, but rather openings in heaven where the love of our lost ones pours through and shines down upon us to let us know that they are happy. An Eskimo proverb, and death is not extinguishing the light, is only putting out the lamp because the dawn has come. We commiserate with His Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, on his bereavement, as well as Mr. Clement Nwankwo. And like I said, the living must go on in spite of the deaths. We thank you so very much for being here with us, as always. I'd like to immediately invite to deliver the first opening statement, the Executive Director of Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC, Abuja, Mr. Clement Nwankwo. Please do a little better than that. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Right Honorable Abbas, the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Benjamin Carlo, Dara, and past speakers, deputy speakers who are here, Honorable Minister who are here, and I'm not quite sure I can keep up with the rest of the protocol, but really to say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to this program. I would join Eugenia in expressing my condolences to the Right Honorable Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, who lost the mother-in-law a few days ago. Eugenia, who lost her sister a few days ago. Eugenia's comments about what happens to persons who have departed. Honorable Speaker Tajuddin Abbas for the inaugural National Policy Dialogue on what the National Assembly has been doing in the last 2 years. This is really mid-term of the 10th National Assembly, and seeing how much the National Assembly has done, I think it's really so very important that the Speaker has put this together. As the opportunity of presenting to citizens what the People's House has done is so very important for all of us. The National Policy Dialogue on Legislative Agenda is the first time this is happening. And I think it sets a benchmark, but also sets future direction for citizens to ask the question it has done. The National Assembly, the 10th National Assembly, on its first start, on its inauguration in June of 2023. In that legislative agenda, the National Assembly, the House of Representatives, had set out priority areas that it sets to legislate on and carry out legislative tasks and assignments, and has since then worked to implement what this legislative agenda intends to do, created the opportunity for the National Assembly to be able to say to citizens, this is what we are going to action. And I am sure I will not want to preempt the speaker when he makes this presentation about how much representing Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, who have worked very closely with the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives. There's a lot that this House has done that I think we would be very well pleased citizens on the various issues that the National Assembly has set out to do over the next 4 years. So looking at legislative agenda, I'm sure that the speaker is doing over the next, over 4 years, and how far it has gone in doing so. Citizens have followed the House of Representatives and followed what it has set out to form that is accessible electronically and through the internet, monitoring and evaluating what the House has committed to do. And I think that as someone who has personally been very closely involved with several of the aspects of the work of the House of Representatives, I would like to say that a lot has been done that the House must be commended for. The Committee on Constitutional Review, and I know how much work the Committee on Constitutional Review has done, listening to citizens, inviting memos, inviting inviting presentations to be made to the House, engaging with different stakeholders on several issues that it intends to look at, including, very importantly, Mr. Speaker and Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, the issue of women continue to suffer in a situation where we have only 4% of elected legislators across the country representing women, which is very appalling. And I'm quite happy that the Deputy Speaker, the Speaker, in the last engagement we had here on gender issues, the Speaker was here with his wife, the first appropriately and appropriately addressed. And I am quite delighted at the comments, at the speeches, and at the disposition of the leadership of the House of Representatives to address this issue once and for all. And that's why we've had a conversation about special seats for women. There has also been conversations in the constitutional review efforts about ensuring that the state policing question is appropriately addressed by the 10th House of Representatives, and a lot of work has been going on in regarding electoral reform, judicial reforms, and several other things. In addition, there has been a whole lot of work going on with other aspects. The Speaker recently came back from the summit that was held in Lagos on the issue of alternative energy and the energy issues, and the general conversation around security in the country, which remains one of the key concerns of citizens. How do we address security concerns? There still remains quite a lot that the National Assembly can do, that the House can do, addressing the issue. Mr. Speaker, there is the challenging issue of human rights violations. We're in a democracy, but we're constantly seeing violations of human environment. And recently, Mr. Speaker, there has been the issue of civic space. Recently, a committee was inaugurated or set up by this House called the Ad Hoc Committee to review a statement or to investigate a statement made by a U.S. congressman regarding the terrorism funding. And that committee has raised concerns in civil space, in the diplomatic community, with a kind of investigation that it is conducting that raises questions about really what the intention of that ad hoc committee is. We're quite worried that civic space should not be constricted in a democracy. A lot of us worked so very hard to bring to an end dictatorship in this country. We suffered a lot under the military. We fought back, we pushed back. And in this age and time, we will continue to push back against any attempts to constrict civic space. Your legislative agenda did promise, Mr. Speaker, that civil society will be a key part of the work that the National Assembly is doing, and the engagement with civic society and civil society will be constructive. We in civil society are very, very anxious and willing to ensure that the engagement with the National Assembly and indeed with all actors in government helps to build greater democracy in this country. We would urge your leadership to ensure that the gains of civil society does not get constricted in the 10th or during the period of the 10th National Assembly. The rest of it, Mr. Speaker, is really yours, but I really want to say that this has been excellent conceptualization, the ability of the People's House to engage with the people and work with the people to improve legislative performance is so very key. And we urge you, Mr. Speaker, to keep up the work that is being done with the National Assembly to ensure that you are able, through the instruments of lawmaking, oversight and representation, that you are able to represent citizens, you are able to deliver on expectations of citizens and deliver on development which this country so very direly needs. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Clement. Clement, Executive Director of PLAC, has made some quite strong remarks where it comes to the issue of women and the gender issue, which has to do with the fact that there's only 4% of women in the House of Representatives now, down from the number that we had, which was much bigger. And, you know, the last election was the one that had more women running, and also the area that had to do with not too young to run also threw up a lot of women. But that election was the one that presented us the lowest number of women in the House of Representatives. And Mr. Nwankwo has already said that the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker have been very robust in the issue of gender equality and how to make more women available in the House of Representatives so that women's voices can be heard. He also made an allusion to the fact that it's important to have that representation of special seats for women. Let's hear a round of applause for Mr. Clement Nwankwo. I'd like to quickly make some recognitions here. I would like to assure you that everybody who is in the room with us today are very special people who have come in to join us at this very important junction that the House of Representatives is taking an important step to ensure that we have a national policy dialogue on the legislative agenda of the House. We have with us in the room today the Honorable Minister Livestock, Alhaji Idi Mukhtar Maiha. Would like to welcome you and thank you for joining us. We have the former Speaker of the 8th House of Representatives, His Excellency Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara. We welcome you, sir, and we thank you for joining. We have Right Honorable Aliyu Dang Tating, it's badly written, Speaker, Jigawa State House of Assembly. Would like to thank you so very much for coming all the way to join us at this important occasion. Right Honorable Aderi Stephen Aribusoye, Speaker, Ekiti State House of Assembly is here. Right Honorable Yusuf Liman, Speaker, Kaduna State House of Assembly is here. Right Honorable Adebo Gundoyin, Chairman, Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria, and Speaker, Oyo State House of Assembly, has joined us today. And I can see now is Right Honorable Haruna Aliyu, Speaker of Jigawa State House of Assembly. We sincerely thank you for coming, and we also have Mohammed Bello, Deputy Speaker, Kano State. We sincerely welcome you all to this very important gathering of good minds who believe in a greater Nigeria. Permit me at this point to invite the Chairman Committee on Monitoring and Evaluation of Implementation of the Legislative Agenda, Honorable Cyril Hart Godwin, to deliver the second opening remark.
Good morning. Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, GCON. Your Excellency, the Deputy Speaker, my elder brother, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie-Kazu. The leaders of the House, ministers here, honorable colleagues, let me rest on the well-established protocol for the economy of time. Before I begin my speech, I would like to say that I'm a beneficiary of the Not Too Young to Run bill. I'm also a privileged youth to chair this all-important committee. I pay my respect to the leadership of the House, especially the Speaker, for finding me worthy to chair this all-important committee that has the capacity to turn around the fortunes of Nigeria. It is my honor and privilege to make these brief opening remarks at this auspicious occasion. The strategic collaboration of some leading global institutions in our democratic and development space in hosting this inaugural national dialogue on the legislative agenda of the House of Representatives, and the sterling profiles of the highly selected and distinguished speakers, panelists, and attendees underscore the relevance of this national dialogue as a historical event that provides a veritable platform for the robust articulation, analysis, and appraisal of parliamentary activities towards a peaceful, prosperous, stable, and sustainable nation. The legislative agenda of the 10th House surely green flags the House of Representatives as the green chambers, as a house of the people, or the people's house, the beacon and the bastion of our democracy, as it heralds a new era of purposeful alignment with global parliamentary best practices benchmarked by the key indicators of strategic focus, measurable impact, and parliamentary audit. The 10th House was confronted at inauguration with an array of critical national challenges on several fronts and sundry fields, which includes the economy, security, environment, education, service delivery, and corruption, and the need for the adoption of a model that is business unusual approach in tandem with global best practices in repositioning the parliament towards restoring citizens' confidence and delivering on its mandate became a national imperative. It is on this note that the transformational and visionary leadership of His Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, GCON, must be applauded for his insightful initiative in enunciating an 8-point agenda for the 10th House as a roadmap in complementing the efforts of the executive in navigating the nation out of turbulent waters to the safe shores of national economic prosperity. The wisdom in the enunciation of the legislative agenda is truly uncommon, and their impacts in terms of quality legislative outputs are commendable. A cursory glance at the 8 points legislative agenda reveals the aptness to the nation's critical challenges and capacity for national transformation. The agendas are 8 in number, from strengthening good governance to Agenda 6, which is inclusion and open parliament. And that is the essence of this gathering. It is gratifying to state that the legislative agenda is not just recognized as a mantra of the House, but a contract with the Nigerian people. As all committees and honorable members are expected to mainstream same in their legislative activities and are rated based on level of compliance with the agenda. This validates the decision of the Honorable Speaker in constituting a standing committee on monitoring and evaluation of implementation of the legislative agenda. Today, we are here not just to commemorate the midterm of the legislative agenda, but to launch an inaugural national dialogue on the legislative agenda of the House to be instituted as an annual event. While we look forward to the successful hosting of the annual dialogues in the coming years, it is significant to announce that the Committee on Monitoring and Evaluation of Implementation of the legislative agenda has, in line with its mandate, lined up a number of strategic roundtables on the different thematics areas of the agenda. Last year, I'm happy to announce that the committee, among other engagements, successfully hosted a national roundtable on the state of the economy and the diversification agenda, with special focus on green, blue, and digital economy. The fruits of these patriotic engagements are beginning to manifest. Presently, the committee is in the process of organizing a global roundtable again on Nigeria's energy transition, with a special focus on gas revolution. The theme of that roundtable has been christened by me. With the leave of the Speaker, I would like to refer to it as my gas, my everything. As somebody who is from the Niger Delta, I understand the importance of gas. The need for gas for power, the need for gas for agriculture, that is by way of production of fertilizers, the need of gas, of using gas for cooking to reduce or address climate change, the need for gas to even convert our vehicle to CNG. So you can see, my gas is indeed our everything. We acknowledge with profound appreciation, with the collaborative partnership and support of relevant stakeholders, particularly the leadership of the House, our sister standing committees, MDAs, development partners, in assist. Let me conclude these remarks by saying that the first half of the legislative agenda has been quite eventful and impactful. I believe that working together as a team with all the partners seated here, the second half will be phenomenal. Thank you, and God bless you all.
In June
Media
2023,
eyes.
the 10th House of Representatives.
Thank you. We have heard from the man whose responsibility it is as chair to monitor and evaluate the implementation of the legislative agenda. He has spoken about the exemplary leadership of the Right Honorable Speaker and his team, and he says their approach on this committee is business unusual, also adopting best practices from across the world and restoring citizens' confidence. Help me give a round of applause to Honorable Cyril Hart Godwin, Chairman, Committee on Monitoring and Evaluation of Implementation of the Legislative Agenda. Permit me to greet my brother who is in the house somewhere, a spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Honorable Akin Rotimi, who grew up in my neighborhood and remains my brother. I look out for him each time and he looks out for me. Akin, it's good to see you. Welcome. I'd like at this point, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to invite the Honorable Minister of Labor and Employment, Katukan Sakwato, Alhaji Muhammad Maigari Dingyadi, to deliver. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The Right Honorable Speaker, His Excellency Tajuddin Abbas, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, His Excellency Benjamin Kalu, other distinguished leaders of the House here present, my dear honorable members here present, members of the diplomatic corps here present, permanent secretaries here present, chief executives of parastatals and agencies here present, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am sincerely delighted to be in your midst today on this occasion of National Policy Dialogue on Legislative Agenda of the House of Representatives. I want to start by commending the leadership of the Honorable House, particularly our esteemed Honorable Speaker, for convening this national dialogue. I must say it is a clear indication of a resolute commitment towards making positive impact in our national development. The National Policy Dialogue is a viable platform for stakeholders to engage in meaningful discussions on critical issues which affect our great nation, noting that this gathering has brought together policymakers, experts in various sectors, technocrats, and the key players in diverse fields for this purpose. The legislative agenda of the House of Representatives is a veritable component of a collective whole of Nigeria's blueprint for nation building as it gives legal framework for whatever institutional mandate or strategies that are developed for implementation. Furthermore, this agenda not only serves as a roadmap, but as an invaluable tool for to determine progress, identify loopholes and lessons learned, as well as provide a clear direction. Is particularly excited to be here. We see this as an opportunity to brainstorm on critical issues that employer-employee relationships, Nigeria's labor administration system, and the broad economy in general. The ministry's mandate, which includes, among others, enforcement of labor laws and implementation of policies in the areas of employment and job creation, occupational safety and health, protection of workers' rights, and vocational skills, which make a passionate plea to the House of Representatives to pass laws which will be brought before the House in a short time to come. Labor Relations Bill, Occupational Safety and Health Bill, Labor Institutions Bill, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund Act 2010, Employment Act 2004, the National Productivity Act, and the Michael Omodu National Institute for Labor. The Federal Minister of Labor and Employment counts on your unwavering support in its quest towards ensuring that Nigeria's labor laws are in line with international standards. When enacted, these bills will not only report for robust investments, enhanced productivity, and the attainment of social justice in Nigeria. On this note, Your Excellency, I urge all stakeholders here present to participate actively in enriching the outcome of this exercise. Together, we can ensure that our legislative framework is solid in the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Finally, I wish to congratulate you once again, Mr. Speaker, on this laudable feat, as I reiterate my ministry's commitment partnering with you and the 10th Assembly in building a prosperous and equitable society for all Nigerians. Thank you.
Across the world, it is said that collaboration makes things go faster. The Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment has called on the House of Representatives to join him in passing the Labour Bill and ensuring that together they can do things better for the benefit. Today, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, very distinguished Senator George Akume, is represented by Dr. Maurice Mberi, and would like to welcome him and thank you for being here with us. When it's time for at this point, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call you all officers of the House of Representatives, led in chief by Honorable Professor Julius Ihomvere, House Leader, who would be delivering the vote of thanks later today. Honorable Halim Abdullahi, Deputy House Leader, Honorable Ibrahim Shaka, Deputy Chief Whip, Honorable Kingsley Chinda, Minority Leader, Honorable Ali Isa, Minority Whip. We also, of course, have with us sitting on this committee on monitoring and evaluation of implementation of the legislative agenda, a thought for gender equality, where we have Honorable Chingwe Nabife Clara, implementation of the legislative agenda. I call on you to please give a hand to principal officers who are supporting the Speaker in the work that he does. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you very much. It is at this time, Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, that we call on the meeting, which is an important part of ensuring that the overall objectives are well met of this legislative agenda. We therefore now take a short document.
In June 2023, the 10th House of Representatives has committed to governance that truly serves Nigeria's people.
I will perform my functions. Honestly. To the best of my ability. To the best. Directive principles. Of state policy. Contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The 10th Assembly emerged at a critical moment in our national journey. 8 bold legislative priorities. The House set out to reframe governance, empower communities, and tackle Nigeria's most urgent challenges and concrete results. These 8 pillars represent a comprehensive roadmap for national renewal. Each priority was meticulously developed through consultations with stakeholders, experts, and everyday create a tangible legislative framework that delivers measurable outcomes for all Nigerians regardless of ethnicity, religion. Landmark police dialogue to advance human rights-centered security reform. These frank discussions build crucial bridges between the force and the communities they serve.
The need for a system that maintains law and order and upholds every Nigerian dignity cannot be overstated. Reform is essential to heal and to build.
Speaker Abbas emphasized that effective security requires both robust operational capacity and unwavering respect for citizen rights. The resulting police reform bill established clearer accountability standards, modernized that had undermined police effectiveness and public trust. The law reform retreats conducted a comprehensive review of Nigeria's legal architecture, identifying over 200 obsolete alongside legal experts, economists, and international development partners to harmonize our legal framework with global best practices, while preserving Nigerian values and addressing local context to inclusive growth, focusing on diversification beyond oil dependence, enhancing domestic production capacity, formalizing the informal sector, improving Nigeria's ease of doing business metrics. Both retreats produced concrete action plans with specific legislative interventions, clear timelines, and measurable impact indicators, transforming abstract policy goals into practical roadmaps for implementation.
Through unprecedented time, ordinary Nigerians could question, challenge, and contribute to national spending priorities. These town halls embodied the Assembly's 8th priority of effective inclusion in governance, democratizing what was historically an elite-driven tracking framework, enabling citizens to monitor implementation in real time. The pervasive challenge of insecurity was met with resolve and coordinated action. From enhanced legislative oversight to facilitated inter-aid, from a political talking point to a shared responsibility. Communities previously left vulnerable found their voices amplified in the halls of power.
We rely on institutions like yours to come up with policies that will minimize, if not eliminate, all the security challenges that this country is facing.
The comprehensive retraining of committee chairmen at the NAF Center wasn't just about procedure. It reflected the Speaker Abbas personally emphasized that committees are the engine rooms of effective legislation, and the leadership must be equipped with both vision and practical skills. This initiatives are prerequisites for legislative effectiveness. From landmark tax reform bills to groundbreaking police reform laws, plenary sessions under Speaker Abbas's leadership have echoed with substantive deliberation, principled courage, and tangible results. Foundations for a more just and prosperous Nigeria. Each bill underwent and citizen input sessions before reaching the plenary floor. Speaker Abbas maintained rigorous debate standards, ensuring that legislation was thoroughly examined from multiple perspectives before passage. The result was their implementability, inclusiveness, and potential impact. Beyond the chamber walls, the House went directly to the grassroots, creating forums to amplify youth voices, elevate women. Speaker Abbas has consistently maintained that representation means nothing if it doesn't reflect the full diversity of Nigerian society.
Say important bills, which ones are better? It all depends on who you are protecting. One bill may be important to one person, it could be of less importance to another.
The Gender Equity Initiative ensured women's priorities were systematically integrated across all legislative domains through mandatory gender impact assessments for major bills and regular consultations with women's citizen engagement, from periodic electoral interactions to continuous democratic dialogue, fulfilling the vision of truly representative governance, where policy emerges from genuine public deliberation rather than elite imposition. In less than 2 years, the 10 economic stimulus packages to educational reforms, from healthcare access expansion to infrastructure development frameworks, this House has demonstrated that effective The impact of these reforms is beginning to be felt across Nigeria, an opportunity. Speaker Abbas has ensured that legislative accomplishments aren't measured merely in bills passed, but in lives improved. The 10th House under Speaker Abbas has established a new paradigm where legislative success This is your house, our house, the people's house. area, one where governance serves the governed, where transparency breeds trust, and where our shared challenges meet our collective resolve. The journey of the 10th House embodies the true meaning of representative democracy, not as it ensures accountability, and where legislation transforms lives. As we look to the future, the foundations laid by this assembly will continue to strengthen our opportunity for all Nigerians. The work continues, the commitment deepens, and the promise remains. A house truly of the people, by the people, and for the people.
It's time now to take goodwill messages, and I would like to urge you to please keep it to a minimum of 2 minutes. We will be taking one goodwill message before we get to Her Excellency Jill Lever, Deputy High Commissioner of Britain, who is representing the British High Commission. As a result of the fact that the Federal Executive Council meeting is ongoing at the moment, we would invite him to speak for 2 minute issues before her, but considers this a most important event to attend. And the members of the Federal Executive Council also who have Federal Executive Council meeting have come here because they understand the importance of this event to deliver his goodwill message. Minister of Livestock, sir. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Your Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, the Deputy, my colleague, elder brother, Minister of Livestock, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have just seen also my elder brother here from. I've been invited here to warm a seat, but I've been asked to come and say, very well done to the leadership of the 10th National Assembly for the proactiveness in coupling up the leadership agenda. We have come here to make the youngest ministry in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We identify with the progress made by the leadership so far. We are young, we haven't come to the House yet with any of requests for passing, so that we are firmly established on the ground to make sure that we carry out our mandate successfully in the transformative efforts of changing the Nigerian livestock sector. So once again here, on behalf of the leadership and members of the ministry, we want to thank the able leadership of the 10th House of Assembly for this wonderful, proactive job they are doing. Indeed, if there is any arm today that deserves that name, the People's House, it is actually the House of Representatives that has come from all nooks and crannies of Nigeria as a nation. And this gathering engagement today, once again, congratulations and thank you very much.
The Minister of Livestock has spoken and has commended the leadership of the House. A round of applause, please. Thank you. Would like to welcome the distinguished Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, the Honorable Minister of State Agriculture, who has joined us. Would also like to greet Barrister Kamoru Ogunlana, Clerk of the National Assembly. We thank you all for being here. It's time now to invite a friend and diplomat par excellence, Dr. Richard Montgomery, who is represented this morning by Her Excellency Jill Lever, Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria. Please come forward. Thank you very much. Give Jill a round of applause as she makes her way up here.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. The Right Honourable Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Deputy Speaker of the House, Principal Officers of the House of Representatives, Honourable Ministers, Excellency, start by expressing condolences from the Government of the United Kingdom to the Right Honourable Speaker to our friend Clement Nankwo and Eugenia Abu in their bereavements. It's a very difficult time today. As Deputy High Commissioner, on behalf of the UK High Commissioner, I'm delighted to be with you today at this inaugural national dialogue on the legislative agenda of the 10th House of Representatives. Let me start by thanking the Speaker, the Right Honourable Tajuddin Abbas, and his leadership team for bringing us all together. It's timely you're undertaking this reflection and stocktake, which comes at the mid-term point of the 10th House. The UK is glad to have partnered with you in this process, from the development of the legislative agenda to this point, through the expertise of our friends at the Policy and Legal Advocacy Centre. We're committed to continuing our support for Nigeria's democracy whenever we're invited to do so. As partner of Nigeria's democracy, we are encouraged by the commitment of the 10th House to a more progressive agenda. From your focus on strengthening good governance to your emphasis on improving national security, strengthening social development, and inclusive economic growth, your agenda is well positioned to help strengthen Nigeria's democracy and pursue sustainable development. We welcome the steps taken by the House of Representatives in progressing these objectives over the last 2 years, and your commitment to a timely conclusion of the electoral reform process is commendable, as is the significant work of the Constitution Review Committee led by the Honourable Deputy Speaker. I speak for the UK as well as Nigeria's other friends in the international community when I say we're encouraged that the House of Representatives has highlighted the passage of the bill to introduce special or additional seats for women in the Legislative House. This is a priority in your legislative agenda. I'd like to applaud the leadership of the Honourable Deputy Speaker, thank you very much, in sponsoring the bill, and commend the Right Honourable Speaker for lending his weight to the issue. This evidences serious commitment to a more inclusive democratic representation in Nigeria. As we all know, women hold only 4% of the seats in the House of Representatives and 3.6% of seats in the Senate, at the same time as they represent 50% of Nigeria's population and a huge pool of untapped talent and ability. Inclusive governance, a parliament that mirrors and is accountable to the country it serves, is good for democracy and represents an investment that leads to economic growth. So it's heartening that the 10th House of Representatives, who have adopted the moniker of the People's House, is taking steps to include the 50% of people who are almost entirely missing at the moment, the women. As Nigerians engage in conversations and advocacy on the issue of inclusive representation of women in politics, I'd like to appreciate the Right Honourable Speaker and the Right Honourable Deputy Speaker for your visionary leadership and steadfast commitment. I'd also like to commend other Nigerian advocates for the Special Seats Bill in the National Assembly and the efforts of civil society, men and women, young and old, who have led their voices in advocacy and support. As one of Nigeria's closest partners and friends, the UK believes that a strong, representative and responsible legislature is crucial to Nigeria's future. We want Nigeria to succeed. Nigeria's success is our success. The UK therefore remains a committed supporter of the 10th House as you pursue your people-focused agenda over the remainder of the Parliament. Let me conclude by applauding the House for making the agenda a living, breathing platform for national dialogue. The policy dialogue is an example for making the agenda a living, breathing platform and how legislatures can lead with transparency and courage, inviting scrutiny and demonstrating ownership. I wish you fruitful reflections and continued success in delivering your agenda, one that meets the hopes of all Nigerians. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's always such a pleasure to listen to Her Excellency deliver what is always considered the very best interest of Nigeria whenever she speaks, and this time speaking for His Excellency Dr. Richard Montgomery. The policy dialogue must be living and breathing, must be actionable, must be seen to be doing what is expected to do. And I believe that the Monitoring and Evaluation Committee, whose responsibility it is to keep an eagle eye on it, will do just the needful as Jill has espoused it. I'd like us to give a round of applause to Jill for that excellent intervention. And I'd also like to thank her very much for commiserating with me on the loss of my sister. Sisters are very special. And so to come out for this, like I mentioned, is my very deep respect for the leadership of the House of Representatives. The Speaker himself grieving his mother-in-law, and like I mentioned, Clement grieving his mother. We're delighted to be able to do the work that is required to get Nigeria fast-tracked, and part of it is doing what we do today. And I'm deeply honored to be part of this. I'd like to greet and welcome Engineer Bashir Yero, Deputy Clerk to the National Assembly, Dr. Yahaya Danzaria, Clerk, House of Representatives, and Dr. Alibi Umaru, Secretary, Directorate of Research and Information in the National Assembly. Of course, like I mentioned, everybody who has come here today has come here because they believe that this dialogue is critical for doing what the National Assembly does best and what the House of Representatives is anal about to ensure that Nigeria is exactly where we want it to be, to collaborate, to be accountable, and to realign itself to the jurisdiction for which the House of Representatives was set up in the first place. I'd like at this point to welcome very quickly to the podium the Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Economic Summit Group, Mr. Tayo Aduloju. If Mr. Tayo Aduloju is here, could he make his way to the podium? And if he is not here, we will fast track. Time is of the essence. I'd like to quickly go to invite the Chairman, Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, who is here with us. I'd like to welcome him to the podium with a round of applause.
The Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, who is also a mentor to a lot of us legislators, the Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, GCN, you're welcome, sir. The Right Honorable Speaker, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin, you're also welcome, sir. The Leader of the House, Professor Julius, other principal officers here present, the Chairman of the committee, my own colleagues, speakers from Jigawa State House of Assembly, Ekiti State House of Assembly, Kaduna State Houses of Assembly, and other speakers here present. Development partners here present. Special recognition to the Executive Director of PLAC, Mr. Clement. Thank you for all you do for the legislature, both in the national and the subnational. In order not to waste too much of our time, I also like to stand on the existing protocols that have been established. It is with profound honor and deep sense of responsibility that I deliver this goodwill message on behalf of the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria at this historic national policy dialogue and the legislative agenda of the House of Representatives. This occasion presents a unique platform for reflection, engagement, and strategic alignment, not only for the federal lawmakers, but also for those of us at the subnational level, as we collectively strive to strengthen democratic governance and improve the lives of the Nigerian people. First, let me commend the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, GCON, for his visionary leadership in convening this dialogue. This initiative is bold and timely step forward, consolidating legislative effectiveness, transparency, and cooperation. It underscores the critical role of the legislature as a catalyst for national transformation, a protector of the people's trust, and a driver of innovative challenge and change. We recognize that while the House of Representatives sets the legislative agenda for the federal legislature, the effective translation of many of these priorities into meaningful national impact often requires collaboration and partnership with state houses of assembly. This cooperation is essential for aligning federal and state policies, promoting inclusive governance, and ensuring that the legislative actions resonate with the diverse needs of our people across the Federation. Security remains a paramount concern for every Nigerian. It is not enough to merely condemn acts of terrorism, banditry, kidnappings, and communal violence each time they occur. As legislators, we must enact laws and support proactive, intelligence-driven security measures, strengthen the capacity of our security agencies, and promote community-based policing. A critical step towards addressing the multifarious security crisis in the country would be the establishment of state police, a position long advocated by the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria. This will enable more localized and effective security measures tailored to specific regional needs. We must also overhaul the already existing security architecture for greater professionalism, efficiency, and better service delivery. This includes recruiting and training more personnel, providing modern equipment, and adopting technology-driven approaches to combat emerging security threats. Beyond security, we must address the root cause of youth unemployment and economic despair. To deter our youth from engaging in criminal activities, we must create more meaningful economic opportunities. I urge collaboration on initiatives such as youth empowerment and skill acquisition, supporting MSMEs, promoting agricultural development and food security, advancing digital economy and innovation. Improving access to quality healthcare and education are all very, very important. The synergy between the National Assembly and state houses of assembly is paramount in translating legislative agendas into tangible outcomes for Nigerians. By recognizing existing federal programs, these areas are strategically aligning state-level initiative. We can collectively address the pressing challenges facing our nation and pave the way for sustainable development and prosperity. In this light, I must again commend the leadership of the House of Representatives, particularly my own dear mentor, the 10th Assembly under the Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, for its progressive and inclusive approach. The consistent effort to involve, collaborate with, and carry state legislatures along in legislative processes and broader governance conversation is a step in enhancing inter-legislative relations. This level of partnership not only fosters cohesion in policy implementation across all tiers of government, but also strengthens the foundation of our democracy by ensuring that the voices of the subnational entities are heard and integrated in national discourse. His thoughtful and proactive leadership in constituting the Committee on Nutrition and Food Security, as well as for inaugurating the National Legislative Network on Nutrition and Food Security, is equally laudable. These initiatives are timely and crucial, given the ongoing challenges of inflation, hunger, and undernutrition that threatens the productivity and well-being of millions of Nigerians. I assure you of the support of the Conference of Speakers in making sure the efforts are impactful at the subnational level. As we reflect on the midterm progress of the 10th House and chart a course for the future, I wish to reaffirm the commitment of the Conference of Speakers to deeper collaboration with the National Assembly. Together, we can build a legislative culture that is proactive, people-focused, and fundamentally rooted in service to our great nation. As leaders and lawmakers, we must rise above partisan interests and regional differences to serve the greater good. We must not act just on representative of our constituencies, but as a true patriot committed to the unity, security, and prosperity of our beloved country. May the outcomes of this dialogue be practical, far-reaching, and truly transformational. As I conclude this address, I want to stress that the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures is looking forward to stronger legislative synergies that will uplift our people and advance our nation. Thank you all for listening, and may the soul of our departed rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Thank you very much. We've heard synergy. We've heard upliftment of our people. The speech by Right Honorable Adebo Okudi, Chairman, Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures. We thank you for your intervention. At this point, I'd like to invite a man who has been all over Nigeria, making the best use of the opportunities that has been given his establishment to ensure that the people of Nigeria are better for their presence in Nigeria. Please help me welcome His Excellency Ambassador Gautier Mino, Head of the European Union Delegation to Nigeria and to ECOWAS, for his goodwill message. That's not a Nigerian clap. Let's wish him well as he comes up here. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, distinguished members, and honorable ministers, Excellencies, representatives of civil society and the press, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stand on existing protocols, and in the interest of time, I will summarize my written speech in a few words. The EU commends very much this initiative of dialogue, openness, and transparency. We are partnering with the House of Representatives on a series of legislative works with technical assistance, and we are very happy to have supported the monitoring and evaluation framework guiding the legislative agenda, reinforcing the main support provided by our partners of the United Kingdom and PLAC. And we'll be also financing on comparative performance analysis of the 10th Assembly in collaboration with, of course, the National Assembly and through a partner, IAGA Africa. I would like to mention four subjects which are of particular interest to us and that we will follow particularly closely in the coming month in your legislative works. First, as was mentioned by my British colleague formerly, the debate on the additional seats bill. This is really a key issue, an issue where you have the opportunity to make history and to mark a turning point in women's participation in politics in Nigeria. This is a question on which several nations in Africa and on other continents have made considerable progress over the last few years, and Nigeria, as a natural leader in Africa and beyond, cannot lag behind. This is not only a question of women's rights, it's a question of adopting, using a transformative tool and transformative accelerator to the sustainable development of this country, because experience shows that the most prosperous countries in the world are those where women empowerment is highest. The second topic is electoral reform. In 2023, our EU Electoral Observation Mission issued a set of what we think were useful recommendations to strengthen Nigeria's electoral system and its citizens' trust in it. It will be, of course, up to the National Assembly to decide which ones you wish to follow and in which form. But I think, again, this is a crucial topic as Nigeria slowly comes closer to the 2027 election. And in a few months, we will have a new electoral follow-up mission, which will be a good opportunity to engage and discuss on these matters. Third point, business and trade environment. As first trade and investment partner of Nigeria, the EU, like many other partners, has a key interest in this. I know that the House of Representatives, like the federal government, is very much aware of the need to improve business and investment environment in the country. And this, of course, entails some legislative measures. And we'll also be willing to partner very closely with you, also through our EU companies in Nigeria, which have gathered in the European Chamber of Commerce, Eurocham, which is gaining more and more traction and can serve as a useful interlocutor. And one of an important piece of legislation are the tax reform bills currently under consideration, which also entail the fourth topic which I wanted to mention, which is the mobilization of domestic resources, which is also a key challenge at a time when international support from some partners is decreasing. Of course, I could also mention other important topics on new pressing challenges like regulation and development of digital services and markets and artificial intelligence, or green transition, or labor laws, as the Honourable Minister mentioned. I would like to keep the focus on these four topics I mentioned. And I would like also to see the opportunity to support what the Executive Director of PLAC said about the need to trust civil society organizations and international partners and not give too much credit to allegations from abroad on collusion with non-state armed groups. I think this is very important, what is said on this, and I would like to fully support him. To conclude, I would just like to wish you the best of success in your legislative upcoming work to the benefit of all the Nigerian citizens, and you can count on the EU to keep supporting you in this noble duty. Thank you very much.
That everybody will keep their time short at 1 minute, 2 minutes, no more, so we can fast track this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Right Honourable Speaker. Thank you for the very privilege for this very remarkable event. For want of time, permit me to stand on already well-established protocol. But let me greet both the Speaker and Deputy Speaker, my brothers, the leaders, and all distinguished personalities in this hall. Mine is just a very short one to appreciate the House, the People's House as always, and of course, we are your ambassadors, and in everything we do, we know we work for the people. And within this context, our mandate from the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is to work towards providing food security in this country, and we are doing as much as we can to ensure that we reverse our fortune within that context. And in terms of what the legislative agenda will look like, let me put it on record, Your Excellency, the Right Honourable Speaker, that the Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security is currently reviewing all the various laws that affect agriculture, because we are working to make agriculture a business, agriculture as a commercial venture, agriculture as the lifeline of the Nigerian economy within the ambit of diversification of the economy. And we realized that law is what will give certainty to those who would like to invest. And so within the ambit of the ease of doing agriculture in Nigeria, we are looking at all the laws, and definitely we will be coming to knock at your door. And I have no doubt in my mind with you and your brother, and of course, the leader I know activities on the floor of the People's House will be so vibrant that when it comes to any law on agriculture, definitely it's not the question of take a bow now, but a question of scrutiny to ensure that at the end of the day, whatever laws we are bringing out, we give certainty and guarantees to those who would like to invest. I would like to thank you most sincerely and to assure you that we are partners in progress and we will definitely continue to work together and ensure that we deliver to Nigerians a renewed hope era of food security and food sovereignty. Thank you, Your Excellency, for this opportunity. God bless.
We go now to follow the exemplar of the Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture, distinguished Senator Sabi Abdullahi, who has kept it extremely short. I'd like now at this point to invite Dr. Uche Bonna, Executive Director, Ernest Shonekon Center, representing the CEO of Nigeria Economic Summit Group, Dr. Tayo Adulojo. And like I said much earlier, please, let's keep it within 2 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Due to paucity of time, permit me to lean on existing protocols. We also extend our sincere condolence to the Honorable Speaker who lost his mother-in-law, Mr. Clement Wanko, the Executive Director of the plaque, and the presenter, Eugenia Abu, who are all bereaved and still made our time to attend this occasion. I am delivering this goodwill message on behalf of Dr. Tayo Adelojo, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, who is unavoidably absent at this occasion and sends his warm regards. Let me join others by commending the leadership of the National Assembly and the House of Representatives for convening this inaugural national policy dialogue. This is very imperative for our economic growth, and we are the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, are proud to be associated in this dialogue. The National Assembly's legislative agenda is crucial for driving economic growth, promoting ease of doing business, and stimulating key investments. We consider some areas as key focus, which include economic reforms to stimulate growth and job creation, social welfare policies to address poverty and inequality, institutional strengthening to enhance governance and public service delivery. At the NESG, we strongly believe that strong economies are built on strong institutions, and dynamic legislature is essential for economic governance. Currently, Nigeria's economic data shows that in 2024, our real GDP growth is 3.4%. In 2025, the central bank projects 4.17% GDP growth, though the IMF disagrees with this and projects a 3.0% growth. In all, the African Development Bank forecasts an average continental growth rate for Africa at 4.1%, which is far above the projection by the IMF. This is a call for Nigeria that we must accelerate or risk lagging behind in our regional peers. This shows that precisely today's dialogue is imperative, is strategic, it provides a platform where we can match macro projections to meet micro realities, where we can have data meet with deliberations and reform meet resilience and sustainability. The NAG has established the Shonekon Center, which is an arm that deals with legislative reforms and economic growth. And the Shonekon Center is committed full-heartedly in these debates to provide a better and more inclusive legislative agenda. Legislative dialogue like this is a bridge between policy, ambition, and legal architecture. It is how we co-create solutions that transform economic potential into shared prosperity. On behalf of the NESG and Shonekon Center, I wish to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to support the National Assembly in transforming the legislative agenda into a living, breathing roadmap for national transformation. Thus, as we deliberate today, let us lay legislative foundation upon which a more prosperous, just, and inclusive Nigeria will rise, not just for this generation, but for generations yet unborn. God bless the House of Representatives. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
His Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, His Excellency, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, principal officers of the House, and other members of the House of Representatives, members of the Diplomatic Corps. We thank you for staying the tide and remaining here with us through this journey of ensuring that this inaugural national policy dialogue on the legislative agenda of the House is on its way to being actualized. We would like to thank Dr. Uche Ogbonna, Executive Director, Ernest Shonekon Center, who represented the CEO of Nigeria Economic Summit Group, Dr. Tayo Aduloju, for his intervention. It's time now for us to invite to the podium Executive Secretary, National Assembly Library Trust Fund, Right Honorable Henry Nwawuba, to deliver his intervention.
Good morning, the Right Honorable Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, GCON, Ian Zazau. Good morning, the Deputy Speaker, the Right Honorable Gentleman from Bende, serving as Deputy Speaker, Okezie Benjamin Kalu. The Leader of the House, the members of the National Assembly, the Clerk to the National Assembly, members of the international community and the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Permit me if I missed out on the protocol list. Mr. Speaker, sir, I just want to say that I'm indeed honored to congratulate you and my brother on what is happening today. My excitement actually stems from three different areas. Number one, if you remember in the 9th Assembly, I had the privilege to chair the committee on monitoring and implementation of the legislative agenda. And at the time, it was an ad hoc committee. I'm so happy to see the innovation that it's not just an ad hoc committee in the 10th Assembly, but now a full standing committee. That is very, very commendable. Secondly, at the National Assembly Library, Agenda 1, Agenda 6, Agenda 7, which talks about openness, inclusivity, e-parliament, are given priority. And in fact, if you permit me to quote from Agenda 1, it says, and I quote, to support the full takeoff of the National Assembly Library. This agenda, I'm proud to say, has been delivered, because right now, the National Assembly Library is fully functional, well-funded, but for some of the other interventions, when we seek to deepen them, don't look at us as Oliver Twist. We just want to be able to achieve more. Over the weekend, the management of the National Assembly had a very robust retreat. And one of the recurring decimal was digitization of the operations of the National Assembly, which I know ranks very high in the National Assembly of the House of Representatives. I want to encourage you, sir. What you have done is that you have opened up yourselves for critique. It's not easy, but you recognize that people will only do what you inspect and not what you expect. So I think today's dialogue is an inspection to make sure that we are on track with the legislative agenda of the 10th House. To the international community, I saw this recurring conversation and dialogue about special seats for women. While you engage with the legislators, let me just quickly say that the National Assembly Library is open to also collaborate, because you know the people who are ending up making these votes are 360 House of Rep members, 109 senators. We know who they are. We need to be able to fashion out a way to lobby and intervene, and hopefully we can up the numbers. Generally, I want to say congratulations for today's dialogue, and I hope that we shall be coming out with fruitful deliberations with actionable plans. Thank you very much.
As a reader, what is life without a library? As a reader, And as a knowledge seeker, what would you do without a library? And now that it is highly digital everywhere, there's e-parliament, there's a fully functional library at the National Assembly, at the House of Representatives, and you hear that it is about openness and inclusiveness. Not only did he make that comment, but Right Honorable Henry Nwawuba also made the comment as it concerns women and affirmative action. For affirmative action, we all know that this is how nations that are lagging behind in gender equality tend to fast-track women in areas where their voices are needed. What is a nation when it runs with only one leg? Without the second leg, the nation will not go very far. Let's give a round of applause to Right Honorable Henry Nwawuba. Thank you very much for your intervention. Very well said. It's now time for us to invite a man very much after my heart, big brother and secretary to the government of the Federation, His Excellency, the very distinguished Dr. George Akume, who is represented today by Dr. Mberi Maurice Nnamdi, Permanent Secretary General Service Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Please encourage him.
The Excellency, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, GCON, the Deputy Speaker, my brother, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, distinguished members of the House of Representatives here present, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, not forgetting the diplomatic corps, I extend the warm greetings and heartfelt goodwill of His Excellency Senator Dr. George Akume, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Would have loved to be here with you this morning on this very wonderful event, but as you all know, he's presently attending the Federal Executive Council, being the Secretary to the Federal Executive Council, and he has asked me to present his goodwill message. Today's dialogue on legislative agenda in shaping national development underscores a shared commitment to strengthening democracy, accountability, and inclusive development through robust legislative action. As the engine of policy formulation, budget approval, and oversight, the legislature holds a pivotal role in ensuring that national development is people-oriented, people-centered, transparent, and sustainable. This platform presents a unique opportunity for lawmakers, civil society organizations, technocrats, and citizens to engage in constructive conversation, aligning legislative priorities with national developmental goals. Through such engagements, we reaffirm our dedication to good governance and the transformative power of legislative oversight. Let me use this opportunity to commend the House of Representatives, otherwise known as the People's Parliament, People's House, or People's Chamber, on this very wonderful relationship that subsists between the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives, and the executive arm of the government, led by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. It is my wish that this wonderful relationship will be sustained in order to achieve the desired greatness that the country deserves. Let me also commend you on the legislative initiatives so far taken by the 10th House of Representatives
ably led by His Excellency, the Speaker, and his wonderful team. This is a clear manifestation and demonstration of the citizen-oriented, people's-friendly, and inclusive policy of this wonderful leadership. The importance of this national policy dialogue on the legislative agenda of the House cannot be overemphasized, as it is a clear demonstration of the openness and transparent approach to legislation. It is a clear demonstration of the collaborative effort of the National Assembly, particularly the People's Chamber, with the executive arm of government. It is expected that this unique program of national policy dialogue will enhance the understanding of the House of Representatives' legislative agenda, clearly focus the people's attention to legislative priorities, strengthen partnership between the legislature and the executive arm of government and the citizens as well, strengthen, promote, and reinforce the confidence of the citizens on the legislature. As this dialogue unfolds, I urge all participants to bring forth bold ideas, honest reflections, and forward-looking strategies that will shape a responsive legislative agenda, one that resonates with the aspirations of our people and addresses the pressing challenges of our time. May this gathering catalyze deeper collaboration and stronger institutions in our collective pursuit of progress. Thank you, and I wish you a successful and impactful dialogue. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Dr. Mberi has spoken on behalf of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, His Excellency, Distinguished Senator George Akume, and has spoken about forward-looking strategies and stronger institutions for the betterment of the people of Nigeria. Would like to thank the SGF for his intervention. I'd like to quickly recognize the representative of IG Kayode Egbetokun, the Inspector General of Nigeria. It's represented today by AIG Victor Olaiya. We welcome you. Thank you for coming. At this point, thank you very much. Please, let's applaud him. The police is your friend. Yes, thank you. We also have the representative of the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs who just walked in. We thank you for being here to join us. It's good to see you. I'd like to quickly call up before we get to Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara. We are now in injury time because I believe we're on live television and we would like to have the speaker at his own event speak on live television to Nigerians. So I'd like to crave your indulgence. Those who are speaking next, we have two more, and those two would speak very, very short indeed. We'll start with the representative of the Delta State Governor, Right Honorable Idisi, who was in the 8th Assembly, to quickly make his intervention of less than 1 minute, after which we're going to Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, Speaker of the 8th House of Assembly.
Idisi, member of the 8th Assembly. I see my Speaker Dogara in the House. It's been a while. While we're in the mode of condolences, while I extend condolences on behalf of the Delta State government to all those bereaved, I also want to extend the condolences to myself as well, who lost a brother 3 years ago in Anambra State, until today has never been found. I don't know if it's to console myself or to wish him a homecoming after 3 years. To the Speaker of the House of Representatives, this is a goodwill message on behalf of my governor to honor this historic national policy dialogue on legislative agenda of the House of Representatives. I commend the Speaker, Right Honorable Tajudeen Abbas, and the House leadership for creating this vital platform to fostering collaboration across all arms of government. As a former Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, 2017 to 2023, I understand the transformative power of legislation under the leadership which we passed over 21 impactful laws, which as Delta State includes the Job and Wealth Creation Bureau and the Good Governance and Accountability Commission law, which is aimed at economic empowerment and planning and transparency. Today's dialogue is timely as Nigeria faces pressing challenges in insecurity, economic recovery, and inclusive governance. The House Legislative Agenda offers a people-centered roadmap to tackle issues through oversight reform and strategic partnership. In Delta State, our more agenda, meaningful development opportunities for all, realistic reforms, and enhanced peace and security aligns with the federal renewed hope agenda. We are focused on transformation, job creation, youth empowerment, equitable growth across the senatorial district. But to succeed, we need strong synergy with the federal legislature, and I urge the House to prioritize laws and strengthen fiscal federalism, local government autonomy, and the areas of doing business. This will enable states to harness their potential and contribute meaningfully to the national development. I also advocate for legislative action on security, climate change, and youth empowerment, issues critical to national stability as a grassroots politician. And I know the importance of politics that reflect the various needs of the ordinary Nigerian. Finally, I commend the House Oversight role in Delta State. We uphold transparency through institutions like Good Governance and Accountability Commission. We welcome oversight that promotes accountability and efficiency. Let us all use this dialogue as a springboard for unity and progress. Together, we can build a Nigeria where citizen has a stake and a future. God bless you from the Office of the Governor of Delta State. Thank you very much.
Indeed, it's important to hear from the states. And of course, we have the Governor of Delta State represented by Right Honorable Idisi. We thank you so very much. It's time now for me to inject a man from the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission, who is holding the position of chair, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, to speak for a minute now, and then straight after him, we're going right to Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, His Excellency Speaker of the 8th House of Representatives. Please welcome Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu as he makes his way to the podium.
The Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, the Deputy Speaker, all other invited guests. From the ICPC, we are here to identify with Mr. Speaker and House of Representatives in the area of good governance, transparency, and accountability. Mr. Speaker, we want to assure you that on our own parts, as an anti-corruption agency, we are going to ensure that we collaborate with the National Assembly, most especially the House of Reps, in order to deepen transparency and accountability in your legislative agenda. I want to assure you that we will continue to collaborate to ensure that Nigeria will continue to be great in areas of transparency, and also to ensure that our people are getting the good dividend of democracy which has been delivered by the House of Representatives. Thank you so much. I would really appreciate, and we congratulate the Speaker and members of the National Assembly, most especially the House of Reps, for this giant stride in trying to show to the people of Nigeria that the House of Reps is the people's house. It's the house which brings itself to the people, to show people what they are doing, so that people can be able to interact and also make its inputs. So we thank you, Mr. Speaker, and wish you well in this endeavor, and also we wish that the House of Representatives will keep doing the good work. Thank you so much.
As you know, that's a critical arm of governance in Nigeria, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission. Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, who is chair, has just spoken. Let's give him another round of applause, please. Thank you very much indeed. This is the moment that we invite now His Excellency Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, Speaker of the 8th House of Representatives, He's going to make the remarks on behalf of former presiding officers of the House, and because he is the former Speaker, we'll be gracious, sir, to give you 3 instead of 2 minutes because we are fast-tracking to get the Speaker to speak. Thank you.
I'll take 1 minute. Your Excellency, my brother and our leader, the Right Honorable Speaker, Your Excellency, the Deputy Speaker, members of the National House of Representative leadership, my distinguished honorable colleagues, honorable ministers, members of the Diplomatic Corps, you can see the Executive Director of Clerk, Dr. Clement Wonko, and the Clerk to the National Assembly, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I've been given 3 minutes, but I hope maybe to take 1 or maximum 2. First of all, it's always a pleasure and an honor for us to be called upon to identify with this institution that I served in personally for 16 unbroken years. And I must assure this House that I'm no stranger to legislative agendas. Dr. Clem is here. I was in the committee of the House that crafted the first legislative agenda of the House of Representatives. And of course, as Speaker, myself, I midwifed one. But the challenge has always been the implementation. Whether you're talking about allocation of resources and then intervention from some other arms of government. I remember one of the cardinal points we had in the 8th Assembly legislative agenda was the issue of the sectoral debates. And we started it, it was going on very well. And then I had a call. Mr. Speaker, my ministers are complaining that you have prevented them from working. And it was just for a minister to show for maybe for just 30, 40 minutes, present in areas that we thought were very, very critical to the national economy, because then we were talking about diversification of our revenue sources. And then the complaint was that we had prevented the ministers from working. And so I'm overjoyed that we're having this sitting. For me, this national dialogue shows two things that this House intends to achieve. First of all, interfacing with relevant stakeholders and the international development partners means that the House is prepared to be held accountable in respect to this vision that they have churned out. So it's like inviting us to hold their feet to the fire. And I can see that so many experienced people saturate this audience today who can do that. And secondly, by throwing this discussion open and engaging with the relevant stakeholders, the outcomes of the implementation will definitely reflect the choices and the needs of the stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, I will encourage you. I have read through some of the very bold declaration of the legislative agenda. But in order to bring it into being, it will require gravitas, gumption, and grit, which in the course of my interaction with you and the Deputy Speaker, whom I had the course just last week to describe as one of the magi's from the East. You have what it takes you have what it takes to bring this to fruition. You see, because whatever we're saying here, whatever we do, no matter how lofty, no matter the language we have used in crafting this agenda, it will not bring transformation. What brings transformation is not what we know, it's not even what we teach, it is what we do. And they say the difference between politicians and statesmen are the statesmen have the capacity to translate promises into achievement, while politicians just make promises. I believe that you have a place in this country and a place reserved for this house, for all of you to show leadership and support the leaders of this house to ensure that this legislative agenda is translated into reality for the benefits of our teeming populace in this country. On behalf of former presiding officers, it remains for me to pledge absolute support and to say that any day you call upon us, we are there, we are waiting, we will never shy away, we will never run away from this House of Representatives that first gave us our teeth. Thank you, and God bless us all.
The former speaker says to me, I hope I didn't take much time. But it's from one speaker to another speaker, and like my children will say, he made a lot of sense. It is not what we teach or what we say, it is what we do. Let's give a round of applause to Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, His Excellency Speaker of the 8th House of Representatives, speaking on behalf of presiding officers of the House. We thank you for your intervention and for the support you have already pledged to give when it is time. Our next speaker is a man who constantly stands in the gap for the youth and for women in Nigeria, often calling on Nigerian youth to eschew violence and embrace peace and dialogue. From time to time, he wears a t-shirt and he walks around in a march together with his deputy speaker to underscore the point he makes that violence is not the answer, and that peace and dialogue is the way to go for a better Nigeria. As I invite him up to speak, I would like him to also ensure that he corrects us all by telling us once and for all, I'm a broadcast journalist, and from time to time I see either his first name is in the last name, his last name is in the first name, and I would like him today to put the record squarely straight so that there will be no roll-ups that say something different from the roll-ups at the back and from the roll-ups at the other end. Let us welcome, as I invite to speak, a friend and brother, a patriot and politician par excellence, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, His Excellency Right Honorable Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, or Dr. Abbas Tajuddin. When he comes up, he will tell us which one is the correct one. Your Excellency, I sincerely welcome you.
Please, you may sit down. Thank you. Eugenia, if being my sister, you don't know which one comes first, there is the official name, the way it's supposed to be called. Abbas Tajuddin is my name. Abbas is the first name, Tajuddin is my surname. The Deputy Speaker, my dear brother, my dependable ally, my partner, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezikalu, CON, the leader of leaders, Professor Julius, the majority leader of the House, my esteemed honorable colleagues, my dear brother, the chairman of the Conference of Speakers of States House of Assembly, the speakers of Ekiti, the speaker of Jigawa, and my very able speaker from Kaduna. The SGF ably represented today by Dr. Berry M. Namdi, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Honorable Dennis Idahosa, who is here to represent his governor, Honorable Ministers, the Chief of Defense Staff, my dear brother, the Chairman of ICPC, Barrister Musa Adamu Aliu, son, the Clerk of the National Assembly, let me not commit a big error by not recognizing the head of our bureaucracy in the National Assembly, the Clerk of the House, the Deputy Clerk of the National Assembly, and all other bureaucrats from the National Assembly, the service chiefs and heads of paramilitary organizations who are here, the Commandant of the National Defense College, my dear brother, Right Honorable, the ES to the National Assembly, our former colleague, now one of our technocrats and advisors in the National Assembly, heads of anti-corruption agencies, members of civil society organizations, delegations from Trade Union Congress, COAs and all senior aides to the Speaker and Deputy Speaker, and the most important, as far as I'm concerned, members of the diplomatic corps who are here, the chairman of PLAC, who is one of our most reliable partners as far as civil engagement between the National Assembly and the outside world is, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted that you have accepted the House invitation to join us for this inaugural policy dialogue on the legislative agenda of the 10th House of Representatives. This is a clear demonstration of our shared effort to promote parliamentary accountability, transparency, and a truly citizen-driven legislature. From the outset, we pledge to regularly engage with Nigerians, report on our performance, and adjust our course based on the people's feedback. Today's dialogue is part of that promise, serving as a precursor to the upcoming Open NAS Week, where we open our doors to scrutiny and present our midterm progress and report card. The goal of this event is not only to celebrate our achievements, but also to candidly examine areas of improvement in the spirit of openness and democratic inclusion. I thank everyone present, especially our esteemed guests, former presiding officers, senior government officials, our civil society partners, and the international community for their support in making this event possible. As the House prepares to mark the midpoint of its tenure, it is important to reflect on our journey so far. When the 10th House was inaugurated in June 2023, Nigeria faced significant challenges. The economy was weak, and there were present development and security crises. The populace was understandably frustrated and losing hope in democracy's ability to meet their aspirations. This was followed by the shock of the removal of fuel subsidies, which exacerbated economic hardship and increased public anxiety. We recognize that extraordinary times required an extraordinary response from the legislature. Therefore, from the onset, the House dedicated itself to creating and implementing the most ambitious legislative agenda in our history. Designed to deliver good governance, this agenda aims to restore hope in democracy for our people. The legislative agenda was not crafted in isolation. Following extensive consultations with key stakeholders, including ministries and agencies, civil society organizations, and development partners, we produced a comprehensive roadmap to guide our lawmaking, oversight, and representation from 2023 to 2027. We also took special care to align our priorities with the renewed hope agenda of the President Tinubu-led administration, ensuring synergy between the legislative and executive arms of government. Thus, our agenda embodies collaborative governance by engaging in dialogue with the executive, and this approach allows us to fulfill our independent mandate while ensuring that our legislative actions support national objectives and address the pressing needs of our citizens. The agenda encompasses 8 broad priority areas that address Nigeria's diverse needs. These include strengthening good governance, enhancing national security, revitalizing the economy, reforming our laws, and promoting social development. It also advocates for inclusion through an open parliament, directs foreign policy in the national interest, and tackles climate and environmental sustainability. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, never has the House of Representatives set such an expansive and forward-looking legislative blueprint. The impact the 10th House has made so far is largely due to the deliberate, strategic, and focused execution of this agenda. We have remained focused and resilient in pursuing these goals, even when unforeseen issues arose. We backed our plan with concrete implementation strategies. Each House committee integrated the agenda into its work plans. We established clear milestones and key performance indicators to track progress, and we set up special committees to monitor and evaluate how well we are meeting our targets. We also insisted on better communication and regular reporting, which included requiring members to maintain functional constituency offices and report on their engagement with the public, ensuring accountability at every step. Crucially, our agenda was designed with the flexibility to respond to emerging crises. This means that even as new challenges have arisen, we have adapted swiftly without losing sight of our long-term goals. In short, we did not simply announce an ambitious agenda and hope for the best. We put in place the mechanisms and political will to implement it. 2 years later, or almost 2 years later, I'm proud to report that these efforts have yielded results. In terms of legislative output, this House has been extraordinarily proactive and productive. We have introduced a record number of bills and a volume of legislative proposals that is unprecedented at this stage of any assembly. More important than quantity, however, is the impact. These bills and motions are geared towards the critical reforms of our country urgently needs. Already, many of significant bills that we passed have received presidential assent. To highlight a few achievements, the laws we have enacted span various sectors. These include legislation to modernize and strengthen the power sector, establish a long-awaited federal audit framework for greater financial accountability in government, and create agencies critical to effective governance. We have also passed legislation to bolster security by improving control of small arms and light weapons. Additionally, we have enacted laws to advance social welfare, including those promoting public health and addressing gender-based violence. Furthermore, we have enacted legislation establishing regional development commissions to further devolve more power to the geopolitical zones. Importantly, we did not shy away from tackling tough, long-standing issues. We reformed our economy, modernized our tax laws, recognized crypto assets, and broadened security definitions. We have enacted critical legislation such as the anti-doping law, the student loan law, and the data protection law to drive change, secure our communities, and protect the welfare of our people. We will continue to act with courage and with determination. Beyond lawmaking, we have vigorously exercised our constitutional role to conduct oversight. We recognize that passing laws is not enough. We must also ensure that they are implemented and implemented faithfully, and that government actions are almost always subject to scrutiny. In the past 2 years, the House has engaged in robust oversight of the executive branch, holding ministries, departments, and agencies accountable to foster accountability and transparency in governance. Our committees have diligently investigated issues of public concern, from examining the management of economic reforms to assessing the state of national security efforts. On multiple occasions, the House has recovered billions of naira for the government through the efforts of committees such as Public Accounts Committee. We have summoned officials to explain the expenditure of public funds and the execution of policies, insisting that the dividends of democracy reach the citizens as intended. This forum in turn itself presents an innovative approach to strengthening legislative oversight and ensuring Parliament remains accountable to the people. By inviting executive agencies to report publicly on their implementation of laws and resolutions for the first time, we have created a new model of collaboration with citizens. This open interchange enabled both Parliament and the public to assess the real-world impact of our legislative work together. When it comes to representation, we have endeavored to make this House a citizen-driven legislature in practice, not just in words. In every major endeavor, we have actively sought the people's voice. The 10th House has convened numerous forums to hear from the public on issues that matter most to them. We organized a national dialogue on state policing and security, held town halls on electoral reforms, and conducted public hearings on key bills and national issues. We hosted 2 youth summits to engage the younger generation in legislative discourse, and even initiated an interactive session with media influencers to broaden citizens' engagements. Similar engagements were held with women groups and people living with disabilities. Furthermore, through our Open Parliament initiative last year, we opened the legislative process by inviting Nigerians from all walks of life into this chamber to observe proceedings and offer feedback directly. The feedback and suggestions gathered from these engagements have been very invaluable. In fact, they have helped shape our priorities by highlighting areas needing greater attention, such as oversight of government projects and closer constituency outreach. We learned by listening and adjusted our course accordingly. By doing this, we are bridging the gap between legislators and citizens, ensuring that the Nigerian people truly see the National Assembly as their institution. Ladies and gentlemen, the House has also embraced innovation and evidence-based approaches to improve our legislative governance. We commissioned a study to gauge public perception of the National Assembly and to understand citizens' expectations. The findings of that study were enlightening, confirming, for example, the public's demand for effective laws and a stronger emphasis on oversight and representation. It also recommended greater transparency, regular town halls, and better communication of our activities. We took these lessons to heart. The very idea of policy dialogue was born from the desire to create a platform facilitating three-way interactions among the legislature, the executive, and the citizens. Our goals through these platforms is to institutionalize constructive feedback loops within the governance process. Significantly, too, we desire for all our lawmaking and oversight to be evidence-based and respond to the real needs of our constituents. Esteemed guests, our House has elevated parliamentary diplomacy to a whole new level by establishing inter-parliamentary friendship groups, which now serve as vital links between the Nigerian National Assembly and parliaments around the world. These groups facilitate sustained dialogue, mutual learning, and collaborative problem solving, thereby strengthening democratic governance and promoting shared prosperity. I call upon our international partners to collaborate closely with these friendship groups by sharing expertise, supporting joint initiatives, and deepening institutional ties. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while we take pride in the progress we have made so far, we approach this midterm review with humility. We acknowledge our imperfections and areas where work remains. Indeed, we may not be where we ought to be, but we have certainly achieved significant milestones in our legislative work. The 10th House is on the right path, yet we understand that the quest for governance is a continuous journey rather than a destination. We have passed bills awaiting concurrence and implementation, launched oversight inquiries that call for decisive follow-up, and identified parts of our agenda that need an extra push. We embrace these challenges openly and turn them into catalysts for greater progress. True accountability means celebrating our wins, confronting our shortcomings, and committing to do even better. Therefore, this policy dialogue is not a self-congratulatory exercise, but a forum for constructive feedback. We are here to engage in honest conversations about what has worked and what has not. I encourage all our stakeholders and partners gathered here today to speak frankly. We welcome your praise where it is earned and your criticisms where we have fallen short. Your insights will help us improve. Be rest assured that we will treat every comment and suggestion from this dialogue in good faith and review them carefully as we refine our future strategies. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we stand at the halfway point, there is much to be proud of, yet much more to achieve. As we look ahead to the remainder of our tenure, let me reaffirm that the House will continue to uphold the highest standards of transparency inclusivity, and accountability. We will also maintain the same spirit of legislative courage that has brought us this far, the courage to enact reforms that are necessary for our nation's progress, even when they are challenging. As I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to extend my deepest appreciation to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and the entire executive branch for the spirit of cooperation and synergy that has characterized our engagements. This administration has demonstrated a deep commitment to constructive engagement, recognizing that the true strength of our democracy lies not in conflicts, but in collaboration. As the saying goes, where two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. In the same way, where the legislature and the executive fight, it is the people that will suffer. President Tinubu's openness to the perspectives of the National Assembly and his readiness to listen and act on our collective insights has been instrumental in fostering policies that reflect the aspiration of the Nigerian people. This mutual respect and partnership between executive and legislature have enabled us to navigate challenges, enact transformative legislation, and drive meaningful developments. It testifies to the power of dialogue, shared vision, and a collective action. In closing, I wish to convey my heartfelt thanks to the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC, UK Aid, and the National Assembly Library Trust Fund for their steadfast support. Your partnership has been instrumental in enriching our deliberations and strengthening our legislative capacity and democratic governance in Nigeria. Such collaborations turns aspirations into achievements, and I look forward to our continued joint efforts in pursuing a legislative agenda that advances the interests of every Nigerian. Thank you for your invaluable contributions. I thank you all for your kind attention and your engagement in this dialogue. I'm confident that the exchanges here today will be frank, illuminating, and ultimately beneficial to our work. Thank you once again for being part of this democratic journey with us. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, and thank you all.
Your Excellencies, the Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, His Excellency Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, has delivered what we will consider the speech of the day. His Excellency has said that legislative courage is important for enacting reforms. He has said this House of Representatives has done a lot of work in encouraging prudence and functional constituency offices, ensuring accountability. He has said this agenda is basically for working for the people, and that the House of Representatives has remained resilient. Those reforms in public health and gender-based violence has been in the forefront of the work that the House of Representatives is doing, and they have been innovative using evidence-based tools to gather information to do the work that they are doing. They have modernized the energy sector by enacting laws that help to do that, and they continue to support agencies and create some that are critical to effective governance. I want to hear a resounding round of applause for the Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives. Your Excellency, I'm a consultant, and I'm not asking for a fee to ensure that nobody makes mistakes on your name going forward. I know your name. I do know your name. But putting it in the public domain ensures that nobody does that anymore. Everybody knows what your name fully is. I do know the name, but now we have put it to rest because it came from you. Please give His Excellency another round of applause. Thank you, Your Excellency, for describing the House of Representatives as one that is forward-looking. Never has a House of Representatives initiated such a forward-looking strategic agenda, and we are here for it, for the implementation. The job of that work that is expected to be done properly and the implementation of it, we all know, rests in the hands of Chairman, Committee on Monitoring and Evaluation of Implementation of the Legislative Agenda, Honorable Cyril Hart Godwin, who is Chair, and his Deputy Chair, Honorable Chingwe Nabwithe Clara. We expect to be able to come here every year and look at the landmarks and to give the scorecard of how it is doing. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the point where we have a formidable panel. And this panel is a truly power-packed panel whose job description today is to illuminate and unpack the expectations, outcomes, and jurisdiction, as well as other related matters of the National Dialogue on Legislative Agenda. The chairman of the panel, esteemed ladies and gentlemen, is a man who began his political journey as a councillor in 1987 and was elected to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly in 1992. He transitioned to the national stage representing the Itu Ibom Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, a position he held until 2011. During his tenure, he served as the chairman of the House Committee on Business and Rules. In 2011, he was elected as a senator for Akwa Ibom Northeast Senatorial District, serving until 2015. He subsequently served as SSA to the President on Niger Delta Affairs from May 2019 until his resignation in 2022 to pursue his gubernatorial ambition. He holds a Bachelor of Laws from the University of Calabar and also attended the Nigerian Law School in Lagos. Notably, Enang is recognized as one of the few Nigerian politicians who have served across all three tiers of government, local, state, federal, and has held positions in both legislative and executive branches. Help me welcome the chair of the panel session, the very distinguished Senator Ita Solomon Enang. Please continue to encourage him as he mounts the stage. I think you should invite them from here. Could we have the support system provide the chairs properly for this panel? Thank you very much. I believe that there's a support system. Are they sitting at each end? Because this is what I see, and if that is not what is happening, can we have the chairs in the middle? But distinguished Senator Enang will introduce his panelists from here.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Honorable Speaker, the Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, Grand Commander Order of the Niger. I think I'm correct now. Eugene, it's not Abbas Tajuddin, it's a Tajuddin Abbas, or vice versa. The Honorable Deputy Speaker, the representative of the Secretary to Government, the Leader of the House, the Clerk to the National Assembly, please permit me to respect existing protocol. Now, the panelists are made up of great Nigerians. Please, first let me invite my friend and colleague in the House of Representatives who served in the first and second Assembly, 1999, 2007, up to a point. Professor Jerry Ogokwe is a member of the panel. Please, Prof. Jerry Ogokwe, please join us. Dr. Miriam Ismaila Keshinro from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, representing the Ministry of Women Affairs. Dr. Uchenna Ogbonna, Nigeria Economic Summit Groups, please. Dr. Uchenna Ogbonna. Please. Can I have the Executive Director plaque? The Executive Director plaque, please. The Executive Director plaque, please. Or any of the plaque officials. Dr. Nwankwo, please. Thank you very much. I will now proceed to my seat there. Thank you. Thank you, the panelists, and thank you, the House of Representatives. Mr. Speaker and Honorable Deputy Speaker and the leadership of the House, please permit me, before we start on this panel, to appreciate the innovation of the House of Representatives on the legislative agenda. The Speaker of the 8th House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, has stated that even in his time, we had a legislative agenda. And at a point at the earlier stages, we called it Contact with Nigeria in the House of Representatives. Let me commend the chairman of the House Monitoring Committee on the legislative agenda. And also say that when we used to call busy committees or juicy committees, the juice or the engagement of your committee is in your brain and in your head. Let me commend the chairman of the committee for putting together this and getting all of us gathered here to appraise the first 2 years of the House of Representatives. And let me commend again the House of Representatives for putting its agenda and what it has done and making itself available to be asked questions by the public in pursuit of its open parliament agenda. And thank you for inviting all of us. Now, we'll start with 2 minutes for each of the panelists to make his opening statement, as I have made. Now, let me start with my friend, first, the representative of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Dr. Uchenna Ogbonna of the Economic Summit Group. Now, you've listened to Mr. Speaker, you've listened to the Honorable Deputy Speaker, you've listened to their presentations on the economy, what they have done on security, what they have done cooperating with the executive and the general direction of the House for the 2 years. Please, can you give an assessment or your impression and your interventions on their presentation? Dr. Ogbonna.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me appreciate you for this opportunity to speak on the presentation by the speaker and the entire program dialogue going on today. First of all, I would like to appreciate the Speaker, the National Assembly, for establishing this dialogue because it's an opportunity for appraisal. One of the challenges we've had with previous legislatures has been a kind of impact assessments.
Thank you.
Impact assessment program embedded in the legislative agenda. By this dialogue, we are reviewing to assess what has been done within the midterm scorecard. I will also say that the programs, as mentioned, are quite impactful, but how well have they been implemented? Part of the challenges we encounter is regulatory implementation, and that is why in our own center we have extended our interventions to the regulatory environment. Secondly, I would say there's also the need to further strengthen the relationship with the executive, because the collaboration with the executive provides a more effective and more impactful legislation than where there's a challenge, where there's no smooth relationship with the executive. When you make a law, you have to consider the impact on the common man in the street. I look at the economic inputs of the laws. How does it affect the trader in Aba? How does it affect the commercial agricultural farmer in Kano? How does it affect the technology experts in Lagos? It must be inclusive, and that's why this dialogue is very, very key to economic growth. So for me, we at the center, we are more economic focused on laws that we are more concerned about laws that will improve the economy and increase the GDP of the nation and better the life of the average Nigerian on a day-to-day basis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Dr. Jerry Ugokwe, Professor Jerry Ugokwe. Part of the challenge of the National Assembly and the country has been the implementation of the laws. And we've had the situation where the local government system still appears in chains. And the National Assembly has made the laws and has been interpreted by the judiciary that the legislature, that the funds of the local government should go directly to the local government, and the funds of the judiciary should go to the judiciary, and the funds of the houses of assembly should go to the houses of assembly. Now, what do you think more that the National Assembly could do, the 10th House of Representatives could do to ensure that these laws, as has been made, are implemented at least at the level of the state government? Professor Jerry Ugokwe.
Thank you so very much. First of all, let me appreciate the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and the leadership of the House for what we are doing here today. Let me also extend my condolences to Mr. Speaker and the plaque director, the MC. You know, I also got some bad news a few days ago. Being the national coordinator of former members of National Assembly, one of our colleagues who served in the 3rd Assembly also passed 2 days ago in the name of Chris Asoloka, who has been a consultant to Committee on Appropriations over a long period of years. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Mr. Speaker, I remember when we came here today, I was asking the leader what has been happening about the what we're talking about today. Legislative agenda. I happen to be one of the consultants in the 8th Assembly when the initial one was launched. And all of a sudden, it appeared as if everything about it went silent. And so I'm happy, I'm one of the happiest persons, here today to see that, your leadership has continued, where others stopped, to even elevate, legislative agenda to a different level. To start with, I listened to the Deputy Speaker, quite clearly, and he said 3 things are very important. The first one is that you must listen. and you must work collaboratively. And then you chart a course. That's what I see that is happening. You have listened, you have collaborated with others, and you are charting a course. And I also listened to to former Speaker Dogara when he was talking. He talked about implementation. Implementation of all these things we're talking about today, to me, is one of the most important aspects of it. And I'm happy. I have seen a lot of things that you are doing, and I want to congratulate this 10th Assembly. Those of us who served in the 4th and 5th, we know what it was. However, the question I was asked, how can we be sure that these things we're talking about, the budgets and the rest of it, are implemented? It reminded me of one of the things that happened in our own time in the 4th Assembly. We tried to get the ministers to listen, to implement, and they refused to do anything. It was, of course, you know, during President Obasanjo's time. We met the budget, we tried to oversight them, and of course, many people didn't know what we were talking about when we were talking about oversight. They thought it was, oh, we missed out something, you know, until at a point when it was becoming too much. At one of the budgets, you know what we did? We talked to the president and we said, we have made budgets for this ministry, for this department, and they have refused to come to give an account of it. So we talked with the senators, we discussed, we collaborated. When it was time, we gave a zero budget to that ministry. When they brought the budget, we finished everything, we gave a zero budget. Professor Hanvere was part of the government, so he knows what I'm talking about.
Professor Hanvere was a minister then?
Yes. So, you know, he was a special advisor to the president.
Yes, he was in the cabinet.
So we refused to give a penny to that ministry.
Yes.
So you know what happened? The president called the minister and said, my hand no deal. Go and see these people in the National Assembly. I have done my own. They called you, you didn't come. They tried to oversight you, you refused for them to do that. There is nothing I can do. So the thing here is to know that National Assembly, you know, has all it takes to make sure things are done. When I teach, when I say three arms of government, I always be sure that I put the National Assembly on top. Then the executive arms, you know, both on the other two wings. So it is important to know that if we're talking about democracy, unless we're talking about autocracy, unless we're talking about military rule, but once you call it a democracy, the legislature is number one.
Thank you very much.
Without the legislature, it is not a democracy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's also important to let know that it is because the legislature is the prime and number one arm of government. That is why it is reflected first in the Constitution. It is reflected first in the Constitution, before the executive and before the judiciary. Let me go to our sister representing the Minister of Women Affairs, Dr. Maryam Ismaila Keshinro. Now, you have been briefed by the Honorable Speaker and the Deputy Speaker in the House, and then the European Union and PLAC on the steps the legislature is taking and the support it's receiving in, one, the open parliament, and two, giving women special seats in the National Assembly and in the state houses of assembly. And then the effort that are being made at the level of the constitutional amendment and in the electoral act process. What is your opinion, and how do you think that this should go through in the legislature? Dr. Keshinro.
Thank you very much. I extend my appreciation to the Right Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, the management of the House of Representatives, and also I use this opportunity to extend the regret of my minister for her inability to be here in person. She had to attend to another National Assembly, and also condolences on the bereavement. May their souls rest in perfect peace. I want to say that more than ever in Nigeria, women have been given a place in this administration, and we have seen it coming through the National Assembly and through the House of Representatives. Women's budget for the first time in the history of Nigeria is 1,000% of what it used to be. Yes, we're not yet there as to have it as 1% of the total budget, but it is really, really a giant milestone. And we thank the National Assembly and of course the leadership of the House of Representatives instrumental to that. And then in terms of engaging women at the different levels, women have been given more chance through the APC government, if you let me say that, to be engaged in politics. But the but there is, the sad thing is that we don't have women that are that many and empowered as to take up those positions, political positions. And you can see that reflected in the composition of women in the National Assembly. And we are looking forward to having more women take their place, rightful place. And the government has also, furthermore, go on to try and see that women are empowered to be able to fill in those places through the several empowerment programs that have been put in place for the women. And I want to say, with all pride and with gratitude to the leadership of the National Assembly, we had the first conference of Nigerian Women Leadership and Empowerment on the 27th of February 2025 that was anchored by the House of Rep and the chair, particularly the chairman of Women and Children's and Women and Social Development, which is a very big plus. If you look at page 9 of your program, you see a picture there. That is it in place. So, and then there are other bills that they are also working on that are towards empowering women and children. We have the widowhood bill, which is still work in progress, where both men and women that lose their spouses are given some time to be able to recover and be able to put their houses and families together. It's the Assembly is working on that. Sorry, the National Assembly is working on that. And also we have the VAP bill. It's been also worked upon. So we have been given a
Violence Against Persons Act.
Yes, Violence Against Persons. Yes. Yeah. So there's so much that has been done for the women. If I keep talking, I think I will exit the minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me also, please, let's give her a round of applause. Let me also add to that, the Chief Justice of Nigeria is a woman, but she's not Chief Justice of Nigeria because it was zoned to women. It is on her own right, rising from at every stage up to the position that it was her turn according to the ranking to be the Chief Justice of Nigeria. So a lot of applause to Nigerian women. Please, we'll have only 6 more minutes here, and then we will give to the chance to the audience before we wrap up. 2 more minutes two minutes to each of you. We want to talk about the question of Nigeria First policy and the effect that the American First policy is having on the Nigerian economy, and what we should do as a country responding to that. What effect has the tariff on goods by the President of the United States? What effects does it have? What effect does the executive orders have? What effect has it gotten on the JAPA policy? And how should we respond? Should we take it as an advantage to Nigeria to grow Nigeria and Nigerians in country, to grow and develop our economy and take it as an advantage rather than complaining about it? So we just want to take 2 minutes responding to it. How should Nigeria, the National Assembly, the executive respond to the America First policy of the United States government? How should we? What should we do? What should the legislature do? The executive has given a direction: Nigeria First by President Tinubu. What should the legislature do to take advantage, or should we sit and complain? I'll start first with the Nigeria Economic Summit Group.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe I'm speaking on behalf of the private sector. The issue of America First, for me, it's a call for waking up for Nigerians and Africa generally to try to be self-sufficient, because the tariff imposition has increased cost inflation all over the world, including Nigeria and other African nations. So the best we can do is to focus on laws that promote Nigerian grown goods. We have to look inwards and focus on import substitution and export promotion. This is the time we need to revive our industries and reduce our importation so that we can be self-sufficient, and then we can also strengthen our Naira and then have a global and inclusive and global economy. All the same, we're also looking at, need to also focus on infrastructure, homegrown infrastructure. For instance, we need to unlock laws that impede private sector investment in infrastructure. The PPPs should be better enhanced so that Nigerian investors can invest here without having to seek foreign aids to invest in infrastructure in Nigeria. These are part of the things that are keeping our economy. Thank you very much.
Ogokwe.
Thank you so very much. Once you mentioned this issue, first of all, Nigeria First is one of the best things we can think about. Nigeria First. But I remember something. After serving in the National Assembly, I went to serve as Nigeria's ambassador to Austria, Slovakia, and United Nations offices in Vienna. And it was my job to market Nigeria. In Vienna, outskirts of Vienna, is where they manufacture this lace everybody wears in Nigeria. So I went over there to talk to them, the manufacturers of lace. And I said, please come to Nigeria and manufacture this thing. Stop pushing this thing to be imported from your country to Nigeria. I assembled a group of all of them that are manufacturers. After all my talk and Dogo Turenchi, as the case may be, their head, the leader, took the microphone and said, thank you very much, Your Excellency. But you know what? You people have to do a few things in Nigeria. I said, what? He said, he used to manufacture in Nigeria, somewhere close to Lagos, in Abeokuta or something. And he said, you know what? At the point he was manufacturing, it was cheaper to bring it from their country and sell in Nigeria than manufacture in Nigeria. I said, why? He said, in the first place, you don't have light. In the second place, all the other things that I need, a lot of problems all over the place. You stop on the road, they take bribe from you, you're delivering your goods. At the time you finish this, it is 2 times the amount of money. And he said, after 1 year, he packed his own things and went back to Vienna. So what is this telling me? That look, there are some basic infrastructure where we must make sure that they are in place. My wife is a manufacturer. She starts work, they take light. She has to go and buy diesel, start all over again. And you know what? These people who were manufacturing lace, when they took me around, if there was a blink of light, it would destroy the entire line of what they had produced. So you must ensure that there is light as soon as you start manufacturing. No, the light will not even blink for a minute.
Infrastructure.
So these are the things that the National Assembly, not only making the laws, but oversighting the agencies to make sure that these things are done and done well.
Thank you very much. Dr. Kechinro.
Thank you very much. I'm looking at it in a different, slightly different angle in terms of not just the goods, but services that were being supported by foreign bodies like multinationals. You know that the America First really dealt with their funding, and that affected some of our own work. But this is also an opportunity for us to be more innovative, to look inwards, to forge and foster partnerships within the country that we can be able to support our country and support our women and support our children through corporate social responsibilities, for instance, and public-private partnerships. We can move the country forward, latching on what has happened with the American First, and now we're talking about Nigeria First. It is an opportunity for us to grow Nigeria, like it is said, to think Nigeria, to innovate Nigeria, and to move Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. For me, on this matter, my conclusion is that President Donald Trump and the Trumpism policy of the United States and the world is the best thing that can happen to Nigeria. It is the best thing because it is an opportunity for us to reverse all the dependence that we've always had on the foreign economies and the opportunity for us to develop ourselves, that the potentials which those countries have, we also have. After all, most of the production, manufacturing, and everything that is happening in those countries are done by Nigerians who have left Nigeria and are helping in those countries, and we say it is made abroad. So Trumpism is the best thing that has happened, and we thank Mr. President for also taking the policy that Nigeria first. Now, we ask for members of the audience, we'll soon conclude, to make interventions. Please, microphone, somebody take microphone to them, or you can use your campaign voice. The lady in red, two of them are in red. Please, the one in front and the lady in red again behind. The two ladies in red. Please.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody, and all protocols duly observed. I want to thank the Honorable Speaker for organizing this program. My name is Iweze Rose. I'm from Environmental Management and the Occupational Team. My question is, will this particular policy dialogue, will it be sustainable? Because what happens in Nigeria is that sustainability of programs is a beautiful program that the Honorable Speaker has initiated. And then we've been having it, since we've had it today, and it's going to be continuing. What if the 10th National Assembly, finishes, and then the next one comes in? Will this dialogue be sustainable? And then secondly, is about the Nigerian First. I think what that particular Trump statement is a very good thing for Nigeria to begin to look inwards. Now, the Honorable Ugokwe that made mention about the infrastructural, problems. When you came back, you were a legislator. What did you put in place, even to make sure that we have sustainable light supply, so that we don't have, most of these problems? Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next person, the lady in front, the red. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to interact meaningfully with the legislators, the members of the Federal House of Representatives. So I'm going to attempt to speak to the question you asked.
Your name, please.
Adamma Odefa.
Adamma, okay.
Yes, so I'm going to attempt to speak to the question you asked about what we can suggest to the National Assembly concerning the Nigerian First policy. And I'll say that, in my opinion, agriculture can go a long way in solving a lot of problems we have in this country. Time was when agriculture was our main earning power and sustenance in this country. So if we marry agriculture with our explosive youth population, I think we can not only solve our food problem in this country, we can also begin to export food. And as you know, with consumables and food, there is never enough demand, and that could be a room. And also, I'd like to say that while the youth and the rest of us are engaging in agriculture and moving forward, fixing our infrastructure deficits can be happening alongside, because a lot of things we can do in agriculture can actually be done even while we try to fix power and everything else. So I would like to suggest that the National Assembly make laws to encourage youth, even at very small levels, to engage in agriculture and to see ways that we can give a soft landing for export to be a lot easier than it is today. Thank you very much.
The man in red, the man in directly in front, yes, please, we'll come to this side now. We'll finish with that. We'll come to this side. Yes. Yes, please.
Yes, all protocols duly observed. My name is Rex Baningo. I would like to draw a reference to, first I will appreciate the leadership of the National Assembly for putting this program together. It is indeed a noble one. And but I want to make a suggestion on how to help the National Assembly to put some things in place as regards to the Nigerian First. First, I would want to suggest that possibly a subcommittee should be put in place to accelerate this Nigerian First, where MDAs, government agencies should be carefully tracked to know if they're actually implementing the Nigerian First. Then secondly, I also want to say that a tax incentives should be provided for local manufacturers. Local manufacturers should have tax incentives to enable them really produce and make profit and also expand. More and more, certain such opportunities should be given. Then I also want to say that local content, we'll talk about local content, the law on local content should also extend to other industries, not just on gas. It should have cut across ICT, constructions, and other relevant.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please take the microphone to the front. I want the House Leader, Professor Humbere, to answer this question on will it be sustainable, this policy dialogue? Please give it to the Leader of the House.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. You can already see the commitment of the leadership of the House to the sustainability of this project. If you listen carefully to the Speaker's address, as the chairman of the ad hoc committee, by the grace of the Speaker, that produced this legislative agenda, I can say very proudly that the level of commitment to the implementation is higher than ever. I was in the 9th House. But most importantly, that we've gone to the extent of setting up a standing committee on the implementation shows how seriously we are taking the issue of the implementation. So there is no problem. Be rest assured that it will continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, now we'll take only one more question, only from this side. And 2 women have asked, 1 man has asked. So I balance it with the man in brown suit, standing near the microphone. I apologize, but please let me announce that this dialogue continues even after this stage. You'll send your questions to the Speaker's office, and then or you send it to policy analysis. The PLA. They will respond through the appropriate channels. Please, every question will be sent through there. Please, we will not take after your question, please.
Thank you very much. Olayemi Atakon. I stand on the established existing protocol. Honorable Jerry, good afternoon, sir. And also being my professor, it's very interesting to hear you say exactly what you have taught us in class about the legislature being the #1. So the first question goes to the legislature, that how can this actually be implemented? Because I remember one example that you've given about if the executive refuses to convocate the National Assembly, then what happens? So how can we be sure that this kind of thing doesn't become a situation.
We don't understand your question. I'm sorry. What's the question, sir?
The question, according to what I've learned from Professor Jerry, Honorable Jerry, is also that with the legislature, it's supposed to be the number one, as he has explained. And also that if the executive refuses to convocate the National Assembly, for example, because the president is always being inaugurated before the National Assembly. So how can we make sure this doesn't be the case? Like, what can be done to implement the legislature to actually be number one? Then my second question is about agriculture. So I live in Malaysia. I've lived in Malaysia for over 2 decades, and I know 95% of the land there has been used for oil palm, which has taken the country out of poverty. Now, according to our studies, there's over 2 million hectares of arable land in Nigeria. And what is the government actually doing to tap into this? Because in terms of electricity production, they use the waste from the oil palm fields to actually generate electricity as well. And as much as we have investors that have personally come to someone like me as well, we do not know what the government is doing regarding this and the in route into making this a possibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, we will be we will not take any more questions, and we'll be very brief in the response. And please, let me just summarize our response because we've run out of time. I want to apologize. On your question on the legislature first, it is in the Constitution, and it is in the Constitution, and there is not a question of debate. The question whether the executive can refuse to inaugurate the National Assembly, that does not arise because the executive under President Tinubu and going forward will always obey the Constitution. Now, on the question of the agriculture, I want to say that Nigeria can feed itself, and every policy of this administration is intended to ensure that Nigeria can feed itself. If Nigeria could survive, which I could call the best period for Nigeria, during the COVID, when there was a lockdown and we did everything, then Nigeria will always survive because we produce what we ate and we ate what we produced and we sustain ourselves. Now, please, we'll take 1 minute intervention from Dr. Keshinro. You first, 1 minute. And then Dr. Ogoko, Professor Ogoko, 1 minute, and you 1 minute, and then we round up, please. From Keshinro first. Okay, you yield to him. Thank you very much. You yield to.
Okay, well, you want basically a question was asked directly to me. First question was, what did we do? Or what did I do when I came back and I saw that things were not working well from the United States? The first thing we did as members of National Assembly was to advocate for disintegration, if you will, of the so-called NEPA. Because coming back from where we were, I went to school in Texas, in Washington, D.C. You have Texas Electricity Commission, which is different. In those days, you have NEPA controlling everybody. That is what resulted in where you have these local discos, in states. That's number one. Number two, the other question you asked about what would be done in case of the convocation of National Assembly. I am happy that I spoke to the leader of the House today about it. What ought to be done is that the Constitution should reflect when the National Assembly should be convoked. You can imagine a president writing to the clerk of the House, a governor writing to the clerk, please convoke National Assembly. If you have a crazy president who refuses to do that, the Constitution does not have a provision of what can be done to him. And I'm happy that the leader said that this has been addressed in the new Constitution amendment. My suggestion is that the Constitution should read, in May, second Tuesday of May after every election, the National State Assemblies at 9 a.m. on that Tuesday is hereby convoked. Simple and short.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Economic Summit Group.
You said 1 minute, but I don't know if I can borrow Madam's 1 minute and add to my own so that I can explain.
No, just it had been taken already by Ogokwe, so you still have 1 minute only.
Okay, so well, let me talk briefly on sustainability. I know the challenge, the fear is that the next assembly may come in and change its priorities and then discontinue most of the laudable projects commenced by this assembly. But I feel that is why we need to have a legislative framework for national planning. This does not only define the planning of the executive planning, but also the legislative priorities. Define a long-term priority of the legislature, which will influence every agenda of each assembly that comes into place. For instance, if we have a long-term legislative plan that's run for the next 30 years, I believe that subsequent assemblies will not come and discontinue projects like this, laudatory projects like this national dialogue, if it's embedded in the legislative framework. This is one of my suggestions. And then on the issue of agriculture, it is also important that the major challenge to agriculture is infrastructure.
Thank you very much.
Second to insecurity. So if we can address the issue of infrastructure, it will boost every sector of the economy. And agriculture, being our mainstay in the past, will resurrect, and I'm sure we'll achieve much with agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. In conclusion, let me thank Mr. Speaker for the very humble speech he delivered. He said that this is not self-congratulating. It is just an appraisal of their first 2 years. We really, really, really appreciate you. And we also want to thank the House of Representatives for keeping eyes on the ball, concentrating exclusively and seriously on legislative activities, and also on doing more of the legislative work. But let me challenge the National Assembly on one thing, which I haven't been satisfied personally that we've done well: the repayment of our debt. The repayment of our debt should not come from oil. We took these loans to do certain projects. It is those projects that we should take the repayment from. Did we do airport? We should take the money from what is generated on airport. We just had a report last week. A report last week that we have finished paying IMF from for over the COVID-19 loan. I want the National Assembly, in particular the House of Representatives. We took loan during the COVID, and we did certain projects. Did the repayment come from that source which we invested during the COVID-19? Because this is why we are having so much of the problem on loan repayment. We thank you for the opportunity. On behalf of the entire panel, we thank you and congratulate the House of Representatives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, very distinguished Senator Itainang. Please stay back for a photograph. It's always important for history for the panel to have a photograph. Can the panel members stand along with their chairman of panel, moderator, to take a picture? The photographers, please, this is your time to take this very important photograph that will indicate that a panel has come to an end and they have unpacked and discussed several issues. Yes. Can I please invite the Honorable Speaker and the Deputy Speaker to join this photograph, and the House Leader, real quick. The three of them for this picture of the panelists who are here. Please be mindful that there will be group photographs after the House Leader has given his vote of thanks. But now this is the honor for the Chairman of panel and the panelists, so that we can see that the photographs have been done. This is an important photograph. Senator Enan, could you let the speaker stand between you and Madam? Senator Enan, between you and Madam, and the Deputy Speaker will fall into place there. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. That's a photograph for the panel session. We appreciate the panel for unpacking the issues and giving us opportunity to speak. Give a round of applause to this set of panelists that are formidable. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, you may now return to your seat, but I'd like at this point to very sincerely request that the House Leader remains on the podium because it's his turn at this point to deliver the vote of thanks. The House Leader, Professor Julius Ihonvere. Please let's encourage him to the podium. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, a man I have likened several times to some personalities in global history that have changed their environments. And for those who are students of history, you will very easily remember people like Bonaparte. If you come to Africa, you know about Mzilikazi in Tanganyika, you know about Shaka the Zulu, you know about Mai Idris Aloma, you know about Eware the Great. If you go to Europe, you remember Bismarck, who brought together the German city-states, Count Camillo Cavo, Garibaldi. These are persons who took the time to make a difference, and they did. And I think if you look at the 10th house very well, you will see that it is a different house in terms of focus, in terms of commitment, in terms of dedication. And I think our speaker, we're lucky to have him, is a man of mission and with a sense of nation, and is delivering the goods. The deputy speaker, an intellectual in his own right, a man who believes in absolute efficiency and service delivery, and who has the courage of a million men. We work together in the Constitution Drafting Committee, and I can say very clearly that he's one man who knows what he's doing at all times. My colleagues in leadership, greet all of you. The Executive Secretary, that your very beautiful building, I've been appealing to you to move to the House of Reps and let the House of Reps move into the library, because that building is state of the art, none like it in this country. I thank you for always making the place open for those who want to exercise their great matters. We commend you for that. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Service Chiefs, the Clerk of the National Assembly, my brother representing the IG and other members, Plaque, we greet you. I see the presiding officers represented by Right Honorable Dogara. I also thank all of you for being here. If my sister looked at the program, it actually didn't say vote of thanks. It says closing remarks. And I believe there is a big difference, but I have done vote of thanks. So I won't go to sit down without making one or two remarks because of some of the things that have been said here. Let me make it abundantly clear that at no time in the history of the National Assembly has this House been open to civil society than now, under Tajuddin Abbas. Abbas Tajuddin. At no time. And now it is the problem of civil society that they are not taking advantage of this openness. We have a desk for it. We have committees on it. We are ever available to engage with their ideas and challenges. But Plaque, yes, and a few others, Yaga, Electa, and others. But some of them are running away from engaging us. Later, they will be in the forefront. They are not doing anything. Some will even call us morons, that we are doing nothing. But from the speech of the speaker, you will agree we are doing something. So for those who are in contact with some of them out there, let them know that those ideas they've been advocating, we are ready to engage them. If they have draft bills, let them bring it on. We are ready to work. The second point I want to make, if not for the National Assembly, there would have been riots all over this country by now. What do? We make laws. We oversight. We work on the budget. we do legislative advocacy. But today, the National Assembly is the one constructing schools, sinking boreholes, even paying teachers in some communities. We are doing roads. Local governments appear not to exist anymore, yet they get allocation every month. We get constituency vote once a year, but states get every month. How come we're the ones in my own constituency, I can speak there. A governor was in office for 8 years and did not touch one school. 3/4 of the schools, they have no teachers. So the point I'm trying to make, therefore, is that contrary, we're not looking for popularity. Legislators are not popular anywhere on earth. Go and check. Whether it is in America, everywhere, people have opinions about them. But we continue to work on. And people should appreciate the fact that the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives, under our dear Speaker, is committed to repositioning, refocusing, and redesigning the process and path of the development and growth in this country. Finally, let me also say that contrary to what my leader, Right Honorable Dogara, said, that statesmen do, but politicians make promises. That is not correct. We make promises during campaigns, and we do after we get elected. We do. I am doing. And I'm doing more than some people who were there before me too. So there is progress, and it depends on the leadership you have. And I think our Speaker has encouraged us again and again. If you do not do, you will be in trouble. The Deputy Speaker, whenever he presides, he will tell members, your constituents are watching you. So don't get up and go. And somebody whispered to me this morning, and this is my final point, that, we look at it, the seats are empty. I said, go to the committee rooms. Go to the committee rooms. Part of our job is to carry out oversight, and we have to do this. So if you don't see everybody's 360 sitting at one time, it means that many are on oversight. In fact, the former chair of the Committee on Legislative Implementation, Dr. Moore, called me this morning that he had an oversight assignment in Lagos. Otherwise, he would be here. So if you don't see them at once sitting together, and it never happens anywhere on earth. We just came back from the US Congress. And many people I wanted to see, they were not in their offices, they were on oversight as well. So we're doing our work. We'll continue to do it. We need your prayers for our leaders, for our Speaker, for the leaders and management of the National Assembly. But trust us, we will not retreat, we will not surrender, we will not sacrifice our autonomy, and we will continue to defend, protect, and advance the best interests of Nigeria and Nigerians. Thank you for coming. May God continue to bless you all.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker, Excellency, Deputy Speaker, the House Leader has spoken. He has talked about how important it is to ensure that collaboration is ongoing, and that if you don't see a full House, there's oversight, there are committee meetings, so that Nigerians will understand. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Professor Julius Ihonvere, cerebral, trenchant, and a politician extraordinaire. He says in the House of Representatives, there's no retreat, no surrender. Let's give a round of applause to Professor Ihonvere. May I announce that there would be refreshment, and it will be in packs coming to you. There will be another session that is being arranged by the House Leader, and the House Leader, Professor Ihonvere, will only lead members of the House of Representatives to that session. So I urge you, those of you in the hall, when it's all over, to please remain seated for your refreshments. The House Leader has a meeting, and he's going to go to that meeting with only members of the House of Representatives. Please note, I will now at this point invite the Right Honorable Speaker, His Excellency Dr. Abbas Tajuddin, to step forward with the front row for a group photograph, after which I will announce right now. Clement, which would it be? Up? You want the picture up? Thank you. Your Excellency, up here, please. Thank you. Just the front row first. Only the front row to go up for this photograph. Only the front row, please. Thank you very much. And then this first photograph will also involve any member of the diplomatic corps that is still seated. Anybody from the international community, diplomatic corps that is seated will go up in this photograph now. Any member of the diplomatic community will go up for this photograph, please, now. Member of the diplomatic community. Thank you very much, sir. If you will fall through and step beside Mr. Nwankwo. Here, sir. Okay. Just a short shift so that he can be accommodated. Senator Enang, you're good? Right. Thank you very much. All honorable members that are here should join this photograph. If you're an honorable member, remain with the Speaker, the House Leader, and the Deputy Speaker. Honorable members only in this second photograph. Only honorable members in this second photograph, please. And then the final photograph are the speakers from the state. The last photograph are the speakers from the state and the deputy speakers. But this one is only honorable members of the House. Only honorable members of the House are in this photograph. All speakers and deputy speakers from the state will be in the third and final photograph. Thank you. Honorable Akin, make your way to the stage now. Photographers, please let him pass. Make your way to the stage. After this photograph, National Assembly Management and the Library. National Assembly Management and the Library, before we take speakers from the state. National Assembly Management and the Library. Please come forward, sir. Quick, 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 please. The speakers from Kaduna, Deputy Speaker Kanu, should stand by. National Assembly Management, please. Can we please organize for this photograph? Leadership of the Library Trust Fund, please help us organize that picture. Quick, 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 quick. And then we need the speakers from the states and the deputy speakers that have honored us by their presence would go up after this picture. Thank you very much. Can we have speakers from the states now? Speakers from the state, deputy speaker and speakers from the state legislature. They are no longer around. Okay. Mr. Clement Nwankwo, where are you? Clement Nwankwo, where are you? Dr. Iwo, step forward. Please settle down. We're about to take the national anthem. We can't leave the room without that. Please settle down. Once the national anthem goes, your food packs will come to you. The House leader will take all members of the House of Representatives for a meeting. He will lead them. Please clear the pathway so we can see the speaker at this national anthem. Media, national anthem. Everybody will be wherever they are standing. Thank you, media.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland.
Thank you very much. This event stands closed. My name is Eugenia Abu. It has been a pleasure to serve.
Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Testing, 1 2 1 2. What's the?
Send me my money, give me my money, anything that's coming to me. 2024.
Executive Secretary, National Assembly Library Trust Fund, Honorable Henry Nwawuba.
Thank you very much.
We have what? Can you hear us? Okay.
What did you say? I think this has been a fantastic event, very well timed, very necessary. As you know, people only do what you inspect and not what you expect. So I think today the Speaker and the management of the House of Representatives have called us to interrogate their legislative agenda, just to give us a scorecard and make sure that some of the things they promised Nigerians are actually being delivered.
Thank you. What are the structures put in place to implement the views and opinions of the contributors?
I think it's a very good thing that they have set up a standing committee, which is very important. So this standing committee will come up with modalities. I guess they are looking at short-term, medium-term, and long-term deliverables. Today, we have seen that they have done about 1,895 bills. It will be interesting for them to have those dialogues they promised so that we check to see how many of those bills are actually delivering on the legislative agenda. But on the whole, I think it's very commendable.
Last question. The participants are of the opinion that this dialogue should be ongoing. What plans do you have in place for further editions?
Well, I just had a conversation with the chairman of the implementation committee. He did commit to, apart from this dialogue, to have smaller roundtables, and I've expressed our willingness to partner with him to deliver some of those roundtables. I think it's at those smaller conversations that we can deepen the dialogue and see how we can actually bring everything to fore.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wankwa. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Okay. All right.
I have with me the Executive Director at the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, Mr. Clement Nwankwo. Good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm from NAS TV.
Okay, my pleasure.
Sorry, first question. What is your general assessment of the ongoing legislative agenda dialogue?
Well, I think what is key here with legislative agenda dialogue is to see the speaker speak to the legislative agenda, outline what is proposed to do by the House of Representatives in the legislative agenda, see the engagement between legislators, civil society, stakeholders generally, and see what direction the legislative agenda is going. We think that a lot of work has been done. We commend the House of Representatives. Of course, there are concerns. Those concerns have also been outlined in this dialogue, and the hope is that between what has been outlined as concerns and what the Speaker has said is intended to do with the legislative agenda, that a lot would be accomplished going forward.
What is your opinion of the structures put in place to implement the views and opinions of the contributors?
I think that a lot of people express what they want to see done by the legislature. A lot of people have their sense of what the legislature should be doing. And of course, it becomes the responsibility of the legislators to listen to those expectations and work towards fulfilling them.
And final question, the participants, they're of the opinion that this dialogue should be ongoing. Do you have any plans to make another edition, or like annually or biannually?
I think the idea is that every year the National Assembly will have a conversation with citizens, with constituents about its progress, the work that it is doing. So for us in PLAC, we're quite happy to support that process on an annual basis so that the exchange between the legislature and citizens will be established, and we would be able to see how that established exchange will lead to greater improvement in governance in the country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nwankwo. We're grateful. Have a good day.
Yes,